In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. George Orwell. Yeah. This is Blood Politics. The only podcast where we don't talk about politics. We be about politics. And our mission statement is to empower, educate, and encourage everyone to speak out against fascism. Speak out against injustice and fight for freedom and equality for everyone. This is Blood Politics, and we ain't stopping till they put us in the grave. We ain't gonna be quiet, and we ain't gonna be scared, and we ain't gonna go along with the crowd. This is Blood Politics.
What's happening, gang? Be right with you.
It's about us versus them. This is Blood Politics. And we gonna do what we gotta do. Because ain't nobody else gonna do it. This is Blood Politics.
What's going on? Now I'm with you. All right, what's happening? Appreciate you for joining me once again. We're going to be talking politics for at least the next couple hours, and I do appreciate you for joining me coming in today. What's happening, guys? I know it's been a shit show of a day. It has. It's been a shit show of a day. A lot has happened, between the ongoing corruption, between Trump at the Teddy Roosevelt goddamn thing or whatever, between the Air Force major getting arrested. I mean, the whole thing has been absolutely nuts, but just another day in the life of a political commentator here in the United States under the second Trump administration. But like I said, thank you guys for joining me. Much appreciated. Again, you can hit the Venmo up here in the corner if you want to, contribute to the chat, if you want to contribute to the channel. Probably the easiest and quickest way to do so. We've also set up a goal in the chat, so I already see people getting in there. Much appreciated for Nola. Thank you so much to Laurie. Thank you so much to who is starting it off there. I saw someone, Dame Dog, let's go, starting it off there. It says 1 down, 19 to go. All right, I'm going to bring you guys in just to say what's up as we let everybody filter in for the evening. What's going on, Rox? How are you? What's going on, Vasantha? How are you? Much appreciated. What's up, CSL? What's up, my brother? What's going on, guys? I know. I think you guys were just suffering over there. Anybody that's coming over from Hal's show has been suffering through the Trump speech. I won't subject you to that. There's a couple clips, but again, I'm not going to subject you to the full thing because it's been a shit show of a day. I know there's been a clip going around of Trump, having a full-blown conversation with Teddy Roosevelt. And either way, it's ridiculous, right? I think there's a little nuance to that, as much as, the clip's been making its way around social media and people have their reactions to it, let's just say. But again, no matter what, even with the nuances that I'll put in there, it's still ridiculous. Okay. It still doesn't take away from the ridiculousness of it. But yeah, we've got a lot to cover. A few of the things that we'll be going over, like I said, why the right created this situation they call radical is something that I want to talk about to begin with. And then we'll get into the U.S. Air Force major that was arrested today. I mean, a big moment, guys. This is a very big moment, something that I can never recall seeing in my lifetime. We've all been asking for people in the armed forces to speak up, and this guy put his money, his career, his livelihood, his future, everything on the line today. So we have a couple clips of his speech and the moment where he was basically arrested in D.C. today. So we'll be taking a look at that. We have the clip of Ty Cobb on with CNN, the former White House attorney, talking about Trump's corruption that we didn't get to this morning. So we'll be taking a look at that. We also have a clip, just detailing that Troy Nehls is a dick. Right. I don't think there's anything really more to say about that. Troy Nehls is just, I don't even know. What's the good word for him? I want to come up with the best terminology for Troy Nehls, but I feel like I'll get suspended from this platform if I do. But just believe me, the guy's a dickhead. He's out of touch, has no idea what's going on with the American people, and he proves it in a pretty viral clip that's been going around. So That's what's coming up. We also, like I said, have Trump at the Teddy Roosevelt Library, but just a couple clips because I'm sure it's, Hal's probably still going through that right now. We got the Good Liars clip to finish off from this morning, and then we'll go into some Ukraine coverage. I want to take a look at the discrepancies between all of the different maps, not all, but, the more prominent maps that are out there, from what's going on in and around Kostyantynivka. So we got the Deep State map, we got the Institute for War, and then we have the Syriac map, and we'll kind of compare and contrast a little bit. There's also a good video that I saw about the pressures that are being put on Vladimir Putin, and then obviously some more strikes inside of Russia by the Ukrainians. So a lot to get to today. Really do appreciate you for stopping by. If you just happen to kind of, stumble upon this channel, give us a shot. Give us a couple minutes. If you like what you're hearing, if you like what you're seeing, at least hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you feel you can, or if you feel you want to. It does go a long way in helping us in the old algorithm. But what's going on, everybody? Filter in. I appreciate you. What's up, Lacey, over there on Facebook? I see you. What's up, Graphene? What's up, Jackie? What's going on, Jim? What's up, Madeline? How are you? Good to see you guys. What's up, Alyosha? My brother over there on Twitch. Much appreciated. Again, you guys can utilize your Amazon Prime account over there on Twitch if you want to subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you a dime to do so. What's going on, DPD? How are you? Can I say it, BB? What's that? What are you saying? What are we saying? Uh-oh. Sometimes that worries me. If you ask permission first, you know what I mean? If you got to ask permission first, I don't know. It kind of scares me. I'm more apt to say no, but you know what I mean. The mods do a good job down there, so they'll keep you in line. What's going on, Wes? How are you, brother? What's up, Laurie? Again, what's up, Frank? Yeah, good to see you guys. What's up, Gamer? What's up, Sandy? How are you? Appreciate you for joining us. Thank you so much. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Again, appreciate you if you just joined us for the first time, and thank you so much if you've been here since the beginning. Jim says Nels is one of Jim Jordan's butt buddy. I mean, this guy, what an absolute prick, Jim. I don't know if you've seen the clip that we'll be discussing, but, to sit there and say he's going to be sucking on lobster tails and steak while people are struggling in this country, right? I mean, me being one of them, I'm not going to speak for everybody in the chat, but this guy's eating lobster tails and steak, talking about fucking what he's doing for the 4th of July as, I'm trying to figure out different ways on how I could, put my life together. You know what I mean? It's like, the fucking just how out of touch you could possibly be. What's up, Wayno? What's going on? Appreciate you, Sparklers. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming over. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you relay the love that I have for Hal over there. Make sure you tell him I said what's up. What's going on, Black Dragon? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Flipper, what's happening? What's going on? Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Just kind of letting everybody filter in. I know Donald Trump's probably still yapping over there on Hal's channel, right? Is he still going through it over there? I bet he is. I bet he's still going through it. What's up, Alvin? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Jupiter Judy, how are you? Mitch in Blue Sky had a heart attack at home, taken out being worked on. What's that say? What's that say? Hold on, one more sec. Jupiter Judy says, Boston Ryan, evening. Sent you info on Mitch in Blue Sky. Had a heart attack at home, taken out being worked on. Was that today? That I did not hear. Out of all the stories that I heard today, I don't know if that was one of them, but I appreciate you, Jupiter Judy, for keeping me up to speed on that. But again, I think I put something on Blue Sky that I think it kind of wraps up. I think it kind of, encapsulates everything that I have to say about Mitch McConnell. I've actually seen there are more people in caskets right now, 6 feet underground, that have more brain function and, like mobility than Mitch McConnell has right now. Kathy says, yeah, Hal's still going through it. It was hurting my brain. I know. There's only so much you can take of that, right? There's only so much you can take of Donald Trump at the Teddy Roosevelt Library in his speech there. So, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I feel you. I feel you. Although McConnell's heart attack was 2 weeks ago. Was that? I think I did hear about that. I didn't think there was a more recent one. But, yeah, kind of falls in line with everything that we know about Mitch McConnell and his health, right? I don't think there's any oh, man, we didn't see that coming. You know what I mean? Come on. Look at the guy. But I appreciate you, Jim. Thank you for clarifying on that one. All right. What do you say we hop into a little bit of the nonsense, a little bit of the craziness? We'll start off exactly where we're going to continue to start off until we get this thing going, until we get this thing finished. We are still at 80. Actually, let me do a refresh just in case. I don't want to be selling ourselves short. So we're at 144 days, 85%. Let's go. I knew I was doing myself a disservice by not refreshing. But 85% of the way, let's go. 15% to go, guys. 15% of the way to go. And like I said, sharing this out does just as much as if you were to contribute $1 or so. So really, really do appreciate you guys for making this a possibility and continuing this. $17,473 raised. I mean, that's fucking incredible. It really is incredible. Puts a smile on my face every single time I get to see this and see what you guys in this community are capable of. So again, head over to help99.co, Boston Bryan, Summer of Drones. Let's get this campaign finished off. Send that truck over to the 3rd Operational Battalion Artillery Platoon, so we can continue to save lives over there and help in the fight against Russia. Launched the cover in the second half of the show about Ukraine. Like I said, if you're just joining us, we got some updates and some maps to look at about what's going on in and around Kostyantynivka, some updates and some videos about the pressures being put on Vladimir Putin, and then obviously some more about the recent strikes inside of Russia by Ukraine. So more of that to come. But thank you guys so much to everybody contributing to this. Like I said, 15% of the way to go. I'm hugely impressed by how quick we've been able to get through this second campaign. I mean, hopefully this is like the trajectory that we could continue to stay on. If we're fortunate enough to do this again and we get it done even quicker, it will be fantastic. So much appreciated for that. I want to continue to keep that on the tops of our minds, as important as that is. So best patches in the game right here. Best patches in the game. You guys know it. I know it. I mean, why are you going to say anything different, right? So the Skyfall patch seems to be a hit. Obviously, if you're in or from the New England area, the Summer of Drones with the Boston Red Sox hat should fit right in your apartment, should fit right in your home. You know what I mean? I don't see why you wouldn't get that. But yeah, that's how close we are. So much appreciated for continuing to get us another couple percentage points closer to that final goal of 20,500 euro. I think that's, like I said, roughly around 24,000 US dollars. And I think, I'm not sure, I got to run the calculations through my head, but I think we're roughly climbing on the doorstep of 20,000 US dollars raised in less than 3 weeks. So again, if you'll take a step out and you look that we have a channel of less than 25,000 subscribers here, and these are the numbers that we're talking about, that we're capable of, like, that is hugely substantial. Okay, that is nothing to shake a stick at. As I continue to say, you guys deserve all of the gratitude, all of the appreciation, all of the congratulations for what you've been able to do. And like I said, even if you can't come up with the $1, $5, $10, anything like that, no problem. I understand the economic situation that we're in right now just kind of breeds that situation, right? So I completely understand. If you could just share that out, that would be absolutely fantastic. But all right, let's dive into kind of the main story of the day, one of the main stories of the day, and one of the more serious events. I'm not really sure if I'm, putting that correctly, but one of the more dramatic events, I'll say, of somebody that is an active duty Air Force major. Basically, like I said, giving up his career, definitely giving up his freedom to make a statement to call for the impeachment of Donald Trump right now. So we've been asking for this. We've been demanding almost pretty much of the service members in the military that are now being used and wielded as pawns in Donald Trump's maniacal geopolitical game that he's wielding. To speak up. But it's kind of. It's deep too, it's a lot deeper than that too, because you don't really understand, if you haven't served in the military, if you don't know much about the military, what they're sacrificing here, like what they're risking by doing this, by not following orders, by speaking up against the president, which is something that, you're not supposed to do under the military code of justice, their handbook and the rules that they have. You're not supposed to be doing this stuff. Okay. So again, this guy taking his career, his livelihood, his future into his hands right now, and his name is Major Watson. So let's see if we can just play a clip of his speech, and then there's actually another clip here of him getting taken away, getting removed, and holding a sign that says "Impeach, Convict, Remove." So again, pretty powerful stuff here in DC. Something that definitely needs to be kind of a light shined on it, and this guy needs to be supported. This guy needs to be defended. We need to make sure that he gets all the support that he deserves for speaking out like this. And like I said, it's really incredible to see this. It's not something that you'll see every day, obviously. So what do you say we play this quick clip? And it says, active duty Air Force major calls for the impeachment of the president. So I think his name is Jason Watson, if I'm not mistaken. So what do you say we play this real quick? And then, like I said, we'll play the clip where he actually gets taken away as he was holding the sign to impeach and remove Donald Trump.
I, Jason Paul Watson, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God. When the President of the United States orders military action against foreign countries, absent an emergency scenario where American interests are under imminent, dire threats, as was done with Venezuela, Cuba, and Iran. That's an unconstitutional usurpation of Congress's authority and a violation of the War Powers Clause. These violations resulted in the deaths of 13 service members and injuries of hundreds more. For this, the president and vice president must be impeached, convicted, and removed. When the president of the United States grants an unelected mega donor sweeping authority to shut down large swaths of our federal government, along with unrestricted access to our government databases, that's an unconstitutional circumvention of Congress's advise and consent authority under the Appointments Clause and Congress's power of the purse under the Appropriations Clause. These violations exposed every American's personal sensitive data to leaks and exploitation, illegally terminated tens of thousands of federal civil servants, and crippled support to Americans for medical care and disaster preparedness, and by far most tragically, resulted in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of the world's most impoverished people with inhumanely abrupt cessation of U.S. aid. When the President of the United States directs the Department of Homeland Security to deny hundreds of people any due process before illegally detaining them and sending them to a foreign prison notorious for human rights abuses, that's a violation of our Fifth and Eighth Amendment.
I'm sorry. I don't know if the glitching's on whoever recorded this or if it's on my end. My apologies, but the sound seems to be clear. I don't know why the video seems to be glitching out, but you can see, obviously, you can hear what he's saying and the importance of
Amendment rights. Most people sent to CCOT never committed any violent crimes in their entire lives, but are being defamed as violent criminals to this day as a pretext for the torture they suffered in El Salvador, paid for with U.S. taxpayer dollars. When the President of the United States sponsors violence on the American people, engaged in their constitutional right to peacefully assemble and protest, that's a violation of our First Amendment rights. Pastors praying for DHS agents violently attacked without provocation. A legal observer losing an eye after being shot with a non-lethal by an ICE agent. A woman attempting to follow chaotic and contradictory DHS agent instructions fatally gunned down. A subdued man that posed no threat fatally shot after having his unbrandished firearm removed, with statements by high-ranking cabinet members also violating our Second Amendment rights. For this, the president and vice president.
Like, I hope you understand the balls that this takes, okay? I hope you understand the fucking cojones this takes. I hope you understand what this means for his future, what he's definitely going to be going through now, what he just threw away as far as his military service career. Like, I hope you understand exactly what he's putting on the line and what he's risking by doing this, and how, like, important and how, like, I don't know, passionate he feels about this, to make this decision, right? To go out in front of cameras in Washington, D.C., to make this speech, to talk about the things that he's speaking about. Like, this deserves the utmost of respect, and obviously the utmost of support. I know there's probably going to be lawyers throughout this country lining up to try to represent him, to try to defend him, but you know, it takes a lot. It takes a huge man, that I gotta say. It takes somebody with a lot of balls, as I said, to do this. Let me see if I'll play it here. Was that the end of it?
President
maybe?
must be impeached, convicted, and removed.
No, just play. That's all I want.
I, Jason Paul Watson, do solemnly.
That was the end of it. So that was that part of his speech there. There was a bunch of other clips going around as well, but this one was kind of also making its rounds. This was Jolly Good Ginger here, kind of recording the moment where he gets arrested, and then obviously adding a little commentary on the end of this. So I just figured I'd play this for you guys as well. This is the moment where he's holding the impeach, convict, remove sign, peacefully standing there on the steps, and then he gets removed by I'm not sure if it's the Capitol Police. I'm not sure what police actually take him out there, but you can see it here.
All right, he's being arrested. So now arrested for being.
I cannot believe what I've just witnessed here today. An active duty commissioned officer with the United States Air Force just made an historic public statement. I don't think this has ever been done in American history. He has called for the impeachment, conviction, and removal of the sitting president, his commander-in-chief. For anybody who's a civilian and don't understand the gravity of this active duty officer in uniform just ended his military career. He is under the jurisdiction of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And under that code, he cannot speak out against the president. That means he is going to be arrested. He is going to be court-martialed, and he will almost definitely be put in prison. Let me show you some of the statements he made from his press conference prior to him taking the Capitol steps and subsequently, as you saw, being arrested by.
What's going on, Sparklers? Appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. Much appreciated. Make sure you send my love back to Hal for sending you over. Shout out to CSL and everybody in the group. Thank you guys for joining me this evening. I hope you guys still have a couple brain cells rattling around in your head after listening to Donald Trump and his speech there at the Teddy Roosevelt Library. Like I said, I only have a couple clips. I won't subject you to too much more of that, but we got a ton of other stuff to get through anyway. So like I said, make sure you hit that like button. Thank you guys so much for trying to get us to our goal. Again, you can utilize the Venmo up in the corner, or we're trying to hit a goal of, I think, 20 super chats throughout the show tonight. Trying to get the ball moving here, trying to get this flowing so we can continue to keep the lights on, continue doing this because we're an independent channel. We don't take any ads, ad revenue. We don't have any financial backers. We don't show any commercials during the stream. We don't charge for the content. We don't charge for Substack, nothing like that. It's only with your generosity and help and support that this show continues. So again, just to kind of get the ball rolling a little bit like that. So much appreciated to everybody trying to get us to our goal. Let's finish out this video here. And again, just in case you joined us late, we're going over the Air Force Major here, the active duty Air Force Major that basically risked his freedom, risked everything today, gave up his military career to speak out against the injustices that Donald Trump is responsible for, sat on the steps there, again, with the sign that says convict, impeach, remove, and was subsequently arrested here. This is Jolly's just kind of explaining of the situation and adding on a little bit more context at the end of it there.
By Capitol Police.
My name is Jason Watson. I'm an active duty major in the United States Air Force. However, who I am is immaterial. In the grand scheme of things, I'm just a nobody. What matters far more than who I am is what I have to say and the price I'm willing to pay to say it. I, Jason Paul Watson, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God. I first swore this oath over 20 years ago upon entering basic cadet training at the United States Air Force Academy in late June.
Like, do you know how much blood, sweat, and tears and sacrifice goes into 20 years of a military career, regardless of what branch you serve in? Like the late nights, the early mornings, the sore muscles, the blood, like I said, all of it, the camaraderie. And again, to feel that passionately about a subject, about a situation because of the injustices you see, to throw that all away and to basically, kind of send yourself to prison. We're not talking about regular prison either. Those that know, but you have to instill upon people, impress upon people just how much sacrifice this takes, like just what he's sacrificing of 20 years of military service and everything that it takes to get all of that, all of the ribbons he has on his chest right now. You know what I mean? All of that. He's giving it away just because he felt that fucking strongly about giving the American people and the people of the world this message.
June of 2005. When the President of the United States orders military action against foreign countries, absent an emergency scenario where American interests are under imminent, dire threat, as was done with Venezuela, Cuba, and Iran, that's an unconstitutional usurpation of Congress's authority and a violation of the War Powers Clause. These violations resulted in the deaths of 13 service members and injuries of hundreds more. For this, the president and vice president must be impeached, convicted, and removed.
I also had a quick moment to talk to him after his speech. So I'm right here with Major Watson, the guy who just made this heroic stance. Major, a lot of people, a lot of civilians don't understand the gravity of what you just did. Obviously, you understand it. You understand you just threw your military career and everything away. Talk to us about why you did that, where you found the courage to do that, and what this means for you going forward.
Well, I mean, like I said during the speech, this all comes down to my oath. This is what I believe is the best way for me to honor that oath. There's a lot of nuances that'll come out later about my thoughts about active duty service members. This is unique to me, and I'm not calling for others to do something similar with only just a few caveats. But what I've sacrificed essentially is my 17-year career is gone. I should expect that there will be criminal prosecution, and I will probably spend some time in jail.
I'll be the first one. Thank you so much for your courage. Appreciate you. This is the part of the timeline where active duty service members, in this case, a commissioned officer, have had enough. Have you? We should have his back. We should be in the streets and we should have his back. This was a powerful display. Honestly, brought me to tears. We stand with you, Major Watson.
So again, I know there's a lot of people just joining us late. We might as well go back to the first post here that we showed where there was another clip. So just to kind of reiterate the importance of this moment and something that is very historic and the sacrifice that it takes. Let me just throw this on the screen one more time, just in case anybody's joining us late. We'll go through this. I think it's important enough where there's no such thing as reiterating it too much.
Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation.
So that last video played well. So I think it must just be the upload on this one. My apologies. The sound on it, the audio on it is clear, but it may skip a little bit as far as the the video, the visual is concerned. But the audio is clear, and again, you'll get exactly what the message that he wants you to get.
Freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God. When the President of the United States orders military action against foreign countries, absent an emergency scenario where American interests are under imminent, dire threats, as was done with Venezuela, Cuba, and Iran, that's an unconstitutional usurpation of Congress's authority and a violation of the War Powers Clause. These violations resulted in the deaths of 13 service members and injuries of hundreds more. For this, the president and vice president must be impeached, convicted, and removed. When the president of the United States grants an unelected mega donor sweeping authority to shut down large swaths of our federal government, along with unrestricted access to our government databases, that's an unconstitutional circumvention of Congress's advise and consent authority under the Appointments Clause and Congress's power of the purse under the Appropriations Clause.
And again, it shouldn't be lost on anybody that we have now entering the week of the 4th of July on the 250th anniversary of this country. And this is where we are. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be lost on anybody that, not is it just the utter embarrassment, the shame, and the unfortunate nature of having Donald Trump in charge right now during the 250th, what should be the 250th celebration of this country, and then to, turn around and then look at this country in the mirror and see that this is where we are. We're at a point where we have active duty Air Force majors throwing away, I believe he said 17 to 20 years of active service, active career in the military is unbelievable at this point in time. And like Jolly said, this is a very historic thing and a very unbelievably brave thing that this major did today, and speaking out in a place where more should be doing it. Right now, this guy is almost kind of hung out to dry in a way where if there were 20, 40, 60, 80, 200, 10,000, 20,000 of the U.S. service members in this country that was speaking out just like him, it would be very fucking difficult for the military to do something about that, right? Where now he's kind of the only one they can scapegoat him, and where there's people in the military leadership and they're trying to appease Donald Trump at every single fucking turn, especially at the Pentagon, that they're going to definitely try to make a scapegoat out of this major here, which is unfortunate because there should be thousands, tens of thousands of people just like him that recognize the severity of the moment and how they're being, kind of wielded as Donald Trump's political pawns to use as his private militia, throughout the fucking globe right now to speak up just like this. But again, on the other hand, it has to be said, just what they're risking. Okay, just what it takes for, again, an active duty officer in the United States Armed Forces to fucking set up a press conference, set up cameras, and in uniform with the cabbage, you know what I mean, with all the ribbons on his chest, get out there and call for the impeachment of the fucking commander-in-chief of the armed forces. You know, so it's like he said, it's jail time, it's military code of justice, it's federal shit. You know what I mean? It's they're not fucking around crew. So it has to be said that, you know, there's a lot weighing upon the minds of the people in the military right now, and the decisions that they have to make, the orders that they have to follow. It's not just like, okay, let me deny this order and everything's going to be okay type shit. You know what I mean? Like like he said, there's a lot that goes into this. There's a lot that he's risking. And again, for anybody that did join us later, is joining us now, please hit that like button. And here's the moment where he actually gets arrested. This is the beginning of Jolly's video here, where he shows, the major actually getting arrested on the steps there as he's holding the sign, impeach, convict, remove. So this is powerful shit, okay? So just a wild day between the ridiculousness of Donald Trump at the fucking Roosevelt Library, this taking place in D.C. It's just utter and sheer madness. And we have so many other clips to go through as well. But this is the moment again. We'll just play the first couple minutes of this video, and then we'll go on from here. But I appreciate anybody that joined us late. Again, this is where that Air Force major was arrested on the steps here.
All right, he's being arrested. So now arrested for being.
I cannot believe what I've just witnessed here today. An active duty commissioned officer with the United States Air Force just made an historic public statement. I don't think this has ever been done in American history. He has called for the impeachment.
And Jolly's a vet too, so you know the importance of this, the historic nature of this, is not lost upon many, especially veterans that are looking upon this, that watch this happen. So you can tell in the the way that he's speaking about it, you know, the kind of the tone of his voice, you know, just kind of how shocked he is, and how much of a how big of a moment this was, how much balls. I know I continue to say that, but how much balls this actually takes to do this.
Conviction and removal of the sitting president, his commander-in-chief. For anybody who's a civilian and don't understand the gravity of this active duty officer in uniform just ended his military career. He is under the jurisdiction of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, and under that code, he cannot speak out against the president. That means he is going to be arrested. He is going to be court-martialed, and he will.
So again, just kind of given the ramifications and repercussions, at least just some of them, that this major faces for speaking out the way he did. So again, a lot of respect for that major. A lot of respect for anybody that follows in his footsteps as well. So we got to make sure that they feel the support, that they feel the love, that they feel the respect, that they know that they did the right thing, regardless of what this administration tries to do to them. We have their back. Their message is correct. What they were calling out is correct. It's all factual. That's all reality. The struggles of the American people, that's all reality, as the one percenters, the billionaire class, the Epstein class continue to get richer and richer, putting up data centers every fucking place that they possibly can, stealing everything that they possibly can from this nation, and just making it more difficult for, you know, the middle class, the lower class, the blue collar workers of this country to fucking make, just a decent life out of themselves. You know what I mean? So hugely important for him to continue to speak up like that. And like I said, the more people that do, the more military service members that start speaking up like that, the more difficult it's going to be for not just the military, but for the administration to kind of quell that, right? Now they can call him a kook or a crazy lib or a radical leftist or whatever the hell, because it's one person. You know, it may not carry as much weight as we need it to carry. It's absolutely important. It's absolutely historic, and it absolutely needs to be highlighted. But again, just think if it was 20, 40, 60, a whole battalion, a whole army, you know what I mean, of people speaking out like this, calling out what we rightfully see in front of our own fucking faces happening right now, to not only the military, to not only the bases around the world, to not only the American people, but all of it. You know what I mean? The whole nine yards, the corruption, which we'll get into next, because this is one of the clips that we didn't get to this morning. And this is former White House lawyer Ty Cobb just speaking a little bit about, you know, Donald Trump's ongoing corruption. On the earlier show, we detailed some of the family's corruption. The list is too long to go through the entirety of the whole thing. But, you know, there's ample evidence out there to prove that there's not only insider trading going on, but there's obviously the nepotism going on between, Don Jr.'s $620 million Pentagon contract that he got, or the contracts that Don Jr. and Eric are responsible for getting. We talked about Ambani, the Indian billionaire, where his company was being targeted by Trump tariffs. Next thing you know, he donates $100 million into a Donald Trump Jr. backed company. Oh, and all of a sudden those tariffs are no longer targeting your company. And not only that, but now you get to profit and enrich yourself even more from some of these policies that the United States has got to put in place to directly enrich that company now that you donated $100 million. But like I said, I think it's a little bit more poignant coming from a former White House attorney, former White House lawyer, than it would be for me. So him calling it out, I think carries, like I said, a little bit more weight. So I just wanted to play a few minutes of this where he's sitting down and being questioned by Aaron Burnett here. And this is titled Onslaught of Corruption, Trump's ex-lawyer on with his $1 billion disclosure. And this is obviously talking about his financial disclosure, which we went over this morning. I put in the chat the link directly to his direct disclosure, the direct link to the text and stuff that you could read and go through all of the shit that he made money off of, all of the companies that he has listed. It's absolutely ridiculous. Oh my goodness. Thank you, DPD. Very much appreciated. And I'm trying to go through everybody that's contributing to our goal today so I can put a star on it so I don't miss anybody at the end of the show. So, StreamYard's not making it easy for me, but thank you to everybody getting us towards our goal. By my calculations, it looks like we're at about 10 right now. So we got 10 left and we're only about 35 minutes in. So we're doing well. We're cooking with gas. So much appreciated to you guys for making that a possibility. Much appreciated for getting us towards our goal. And thank you so much, DPD. I was asked if I will be celebrating the 4th. My reply is hell no. My family and I cannot with a good conscience celebrate POC in concentration camps, free speech. Gone, our right to peacefully protest is gone. People are suffering for no reason because of bullshit. And again, to each their own. I don't think anybody is going to deny anything that you just said or the feelings that you have about this country, the embarrassment, the shame that a lot of people are feeling about this country right now, both inside of this country and outside looking in. So again, that sentiment is probably widely felt. Not too many people in a celebratory mood as far as, representing the United States at this point in time. So again, DPD, thank you so much for that huge and substantial contribution. And like I said, hopefully you find some way to enjoy the moment. Like I said, even if it's just getting away from all of it, even if it's not indulging in anything that even remotely sniffs like politics, I wish you guys at least a happy 4th in some way, shape, or form. Either it's cookouts or with friends or family. Again, you don't have to be celebrating, obviously, the concentration camps and the fascism, but still, everybody deserves their moment in the sun. And it's been fucking sunny, I can tell you that much. It's been about 1,000 degrees. I don't know I don't know how hot it is where you guys are, but Jesus, ACs are working overtime in a lot of places. In a lot of places. All right, let's get into this. Like I said, this is former Trump's ex-lawyer, former White House attorney Ty Cobb, another one of these people that has worked directly with Donald Trump, is now speaking out about the corruption. Again, no flowers or congratulations or thank yous to this asshole. But again, it carries more weight when it's said from somebody that's held the position that he's held and worked as closely with Donald Trump as he did. So again, I just want to see what he has to say about this. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I very much appreciate you guys for joining me. Whether you happen to stumble upon this live stream or you've been here since the beginning, I appreciate you guys. If you could hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Again, there's a Venmo up in the corner. If you could send in $1 or $2, that's all we ask for. Anything above and beyond that, if you think we're worthy of it, I'm not going to stop you, but $1 or $2 from everybody in the chat would go a long, long way. Kind of scrounge through those couch cushions. If you can find 4 quarters, send it into the Venmo. If not, we have the ongoing goal in the super chat, in the chat over here on YouTube going. So, all right, much appreciated. Thank you guys. What's up, Benny Loco? What's going on, Wayno? What's up, Kit? What's up, Woke Mike? Good to see you guys. What's up, Jesse? How are you? What's happening, Allie? Good to see everybody here tonight. Good to see everybody here. What's up, 5 Celts? What's up, buddy? What's up, Robert? All right, let's get into it.
That he's earned over $1 billion from his crypto ventures. Now, this is according to an annual financial disclosure form that just came out, about 900 pages. So there's a lot in there. But it does include this: more than $526 million in income from World Liberty Financial, which is a crypto venture Trump co-founded with his son. So take a look. at this chart by top economic analyst Steve Ratner. He actually
This is the chart that I showed earlier. We didn't get into the video, but I did show this chart on the earlier show. So this details basically the discrepancy between how much the Trump organization, Donald Trump and his family profited between the investors in his bullshit crypto schemes, and how much they lost in these investments. And like we said and had been saying consistently, it's the people that are on the inside that are in before the coin even goes out to the market, even goes out to the public, that are the people that stand to make the money. Everybody else that hears about it on social media, everybody else that hears about it after and puts their fucking life savings in there, you're going to lose your shit. Okay. You're going to lose your shit. And this is exactly what we've seen, because the Trump organization profited $2.2 billion, $2.29 billion. And this is from Trump Cryptos. It says family gains versus investors' losses. So if you go to what the investors profited, you're not going to see anything. You know why? Because the investors didn't profit shit. The investors lost their shirt. They lost $2.29 billion. So they lost, the investors, the schmucks, the maggots, the people that, the same idiots that invested in the wall, right? The same people that, got their money stolen by Steve Bannon as he got arrested on a Chinese billionaire's yacht, but they still love him somehow. Same shit happened here. They pulled the rug out. Trump and all of his buddies and the Melania meme coin, they pulled the fucking rug out, just like all of these pricks do when they start their coins. And everybody that bought into it afterwards loses their shirt. The people that bought into it to begin with or invested in it before it went public, they make all the money, which is typically the insider trading people, which is typically Trump's family, anybody on the inside, Jared Kushner, those type of people. So again, the investors lost $2.29 billion, which again, I don't feel bad about, but you'll see here the Trump organization profited $2.29 billion. So again, big discrepancy between what the Trump family walked away with and what the investors, which again is the maggots. We're talking about his base, his lovers, his supporters, the people that look at him like he's a fucking god and a Führer. These are the people that lost their shirt, again, on something that Donald Trump was responsible for. But again, this is where she brings in Ty Cobb to speak about this.
Steve did before tonight's disclosure. I was looking at it. Then this happened. It was like, wait, we got to look at this. So let me tell you what it says. So what Steve did is put in blue how much money Trump's family has gained from crypto. That's the upper line there. In red, that's the line of how much investors have lost, about the same amount. More than $2 billion. Up front now, Ty Cobb, he is a former Trump.
Sorry for laughing, but how many times can you get scammed, right? How many times are you guys sending money to the Nigerian prince on Instagram? You know what I'm saying? Like, who are the people buying these coins thinking that they're going to be worth something? Is it the same people that bought like the Trump dollar bill? Or what was it? What were the people getting and they thought they could like use it at the store? And it was just like, it was like fucking Monopoly money or something. I forget if it was a coin or cash or something around this time, but these had so many scams. But it's like, who are the people investing in the Melania meme coin or the Donald Trump meme coin and thinking that they're like going to be able to tuck that away for a rainy day so that they could buy a Ferrari or buy a house because it's going to hold its value? Like, I know we're talking about the fucking president profiting off of the people in this country, but I'm struggling to find some sympathy or empathy and compassion for the same idiots that were the people that didn't notice that they had the box check for the reoccurring donations, right? And you had the morons that were like sitting in hospital beds dying of cancer, but they couldn't pay for their treatment because their fucking bank account ran dry because Donald Trump's campaign continuously was sucking out like $5,000 a week. Remember that? There was people dying in the hospital that had no money in their bank accounts because it's oh, fucking Jesus Christ. Sometimes it's like you deserve it. At what point do you deserve it? You know what I mean? There were people dying in fucking hospitals that were like, where's all my money gone? And then they realized that there was a box check. They didn't check it, but the Trump administration checked it for them, or the Trump campaign checked it for them. That said, like, the donation, the $1,000 they sent was going to be like a reoccurring one. Not weekly or monthly. I mean, not monthly, but like daily. It was something crazy. But again, all right, here we go. This is where she brings in Ty Cobb. But again, I'm not apologizing. I'm not sorry for not having compassion for these assholes. I'm not.
White House lawyer. Ty, pretty interesting there when you look at that chart and how much Trump has made and how much everyone else has lost. What is your reaction to the scale of what we're seeing in this disclosure of how much Trump is earning from these crypto ventures? Over $1 billion last year alone, right? This isn't a cumulative number. It's in 1 year, an industry he's actively promoted and supported.
It's like, do you guys recall when they were like, Joe Biden loaned his brother money and then his brother gave back the money? Like, that's corruption. Like that we got to impeach Joe Biden because he lent his fucking brother some money. And oh my God, Hunter Biden paints and shit. And people are going to pay an exorbitant amount for a shitty painting because it's a famous guy. Like that's never happened before, right? Like that's some new fucking thing that like the world has never seen. A shitty painting going for an exorbitant amount of money because a famous guy did it. You know, it's like, and again, I have a clip here. The next clip I'm going to show is from Dana Perino. And I struggled to find this clip. It's the only place I could find it was on Luke Beasley's video. So credit to Luke Beasley when I bring it up. But Dana Perino on Fox News kind of let the cat out of the bag, right? She kind of, I don't know, told the truth a little bit because she shocked Brian Kilmeade and the rest of her crew there on the couch. And she was like, well, you know, we spent all those years bashing Hunter Biden and Joe Biden for corruption. And like, that wasn't even a fraction. I mean, that was just a fraction of what we're looking at from the Trump family and from Donald Trump. So, you know, if we're trying to be consistent on this level, which again, nobody's ever accused Fox News of being consistently fucking stupid, maybe, but you know, not consistently factual. I know that much for sure, but I'm getting ahead of myself. That's the next clip. Let's finish this off. Ty Cobb, again, calling out the corruption here. And again, for what it's worth, calling it out for what it is. You know what I mean? So I'll give him that at least.
And done policy executive orders related to, is it legal?
I don't believe so. Certainly, I don't think it was contemplated by the founders when they created the emoluments clause. I do think that one of the line items, of course, is...
you don't think the founding fathers didn't want the president to make $2.2 billion in a year? Are you sure? Are you certain about that? I don't know. I feel like, you know, why would they go through all that trouble writing the emoluments clause and having like, you know, a foreign version and a domestic version? Like, I feel like that was like a whole throwaway. They were probably just drunk one night and wrote that. They didn't really mean it. I'm sure they'd have no problem with the president having $2.2 billion being made in a year on top of his presidential salary, you know?
Commemorative coins. Several $100 million of income related to those coins. How can that be anything other than trading on his image and likeness in violation of the emoluments clause? With regard to the crypto, obviously that's, it's a slimy industry. Certainly the way he's going around it, where he creates policies that can only enrich himself and his family, is something that I think the average American should be staggered by. But you mentioned the scale, and I think the scale here is just, it's intentional. There's no question. I mean, we are seeing the greatest onslaught of corruption in the history of mankind in the last 18 months.
The greatest onslaught of corruption in mankind. Okay, that's no small statement there, okay? So we can get rid of the most corrupt administration in the history of this country, I guess. We're just calling it the most corrupt administration in the history of the planet. And he says it's just in the last 18 months. Obviously, it goes, well beyond that. But, what we've learned recently and what we've seen recently, especially with Donald Trump's stock trades. What was the number of stock trades he had? Was it like the 5,000 number or something like that? Where there was a graph going around on Twitter, which basically showed the level of presidential stock trades, and there was basically no fucking graph. There was nothing. There was zero things there. And then you get to Donald Trump, and it shot up like it was the fucking, the Eiffel Tower, basically. You know what I mean? The Empire State Building, if anybody had watched the news today. But I mean, it's crazy that you can, he's making this statement as somebody that previously worked with Donald Trump as a former White House lawyer himself, calling this the most, the biggest onslaught of corruption of mankind is a pretty big statement.
We have the $1.8 billion that he and Todd Blanche tried to take from the American taxpayers through the phony settlement of a contrived controversy with which he was going to pay off his friends. This is somebody who every day is devoted to the accumulation of wealth and power. This is, you said, is 900. I think it's 937 pages. I could be off by a few, but it's got to be the longest disclosure in the history of the American presidency. And when you talk about the scale, you've got Hunter Biden, who if they traced every dollar that he was accused of ever having, he couldn't ante in the game that Trump is playing. Trump is playing with billions. They were playing with millions. And this disclosure on top of the disclosure.
And again, that's probably a great segue into, again, this Dana Perino clip. So we'll jump into that one because he's 100% right. Again, even if we do stipulate, even if we do grant all of the bullshit stories, all of the bullshit claims by MAGA, by the Republicans, even if we do stoop ourselves to their level and grant them all of the horse shit, it still doesn't even fucking touch the surface of what Donald Trump is responsible for in broad daylight too. In broad daylight. This isn't hidden behind the scenes. This isn't, something that we're bringing up at a later date. This is happening right now in front of our faces with the fucking spotlights on him. And what he said, Ty Cobb there, I think is very true. He's, the amount, the levels of corruption is no mistake, because it's the Steve Bannification of corruption, basically. It's, we're going to throw so much out there. We're going to do so much corruption that they may be able to call out some of it. They may find out about it a little bit. They may even be able to stop some of it. But eventually, at some point, we're going to strike it rich just based on the amount of and the levels of corruption. All we're going to do is get one of these billion-dollar deals or a few of these billion-dollar deals through, and then we're set for fucking life, baby. You know what I mean? They can stop the $5 million ones, the $10 million ones. Not saying that's even happened to that point, but that's kind of what they're betting on. Let's put it all out there. Let's throw as much as we possibly can against the wall. They may inevitably be able to block it, but whatever sticks is going to make us rich. And that's kind of the way that they're feeling. So credit to Luke Beasley on this one. I tried to find this. I know it was on Mediaite for some reason. My computer wasn't loading the site to play the video, so I went back to the Luke Beasley show. I'll give him credit where credit is due for putting this together. So that's why you're going to see his face on the screen while this is playing. So, but yeah, this is Dana Perino on with Brian Kilmeade and the rest of these jerk offs here, and she kind of shocks the rest of the panel here. She shocks the rest of the couch by kind of telling the truth a little bit here, to an extent that sounds funny, especially coming from Dana Perino on Fox News. So we'll just dive into a clip of this, and she's bringing up the fact that they bashed Hunter Biden, they bashed Joe Biden for fucking years about, a couple $1 million and giving his fucking brother some money and a truck and all of this horse shit. When, now we're trying to say that this is no big deal. This is great. Just because Donald Trump said, hey, look at your 401ks. We're supposed to look the other way at the $2 billion the guy made. So again, this is Dana Perino bringing this up on Fox News to the surprise of the rest of our panel here.
So the President of the United States taking the Q&A, everything unscripted, quite transparent. He covered a lot. So let's bring America's newsroom's finest, Dana Perino and Bill Hemmer.
Hey guys, good morning.
Why did you hesitate?
Because someone was saying shh. I didn't know if I should whisper. If someone nodded off, then I should keep it down. So what's your takeaway from that give and take? First off, they asked the president about his blind trust. They said, look, you made money in crypto. He's like, I have nothing to do with that. That's what happens when presidents go into office, right? They put their money elsewhere.
It's not what he did. That is not what he did. That is not what he did. That is how many times? Go look. Brian, right? Kilmeade. They just pretend. It's like when Trump in his first term signed had these stacks of documents. I'm handing over everything and won't have any control. That's not actually what happened.
So I don't know enough about the details. He put out a disclosure yesterday. It was eye-opening for a lot of people that you can make that kind of money. Maybe it is in crypto, maybe it's not, but it does feel a little bit like, wait, what is going on? And the White House they have a good point. They're like, well, everybody's making money. Everybody's better. But if they think that this issue is not permeating across the...
That's the fucking point. Everybody's not making money. Everybody's making money, but it's just not enough money to live. It's just not enough money to survive. Like I said, we can bring up, and I'm sure you guys have run into this, where there's people in this country right now making more money than they've ever made. More money than they've ever seen in their entire life coming in their paycheck, and they still can't afford life. They still can't afford to buy their own home. They still can't afford to have a home and a vehicle. They still can't afford to have kids. All of these things just because, inflation and the cost of living has outpaced how much your fucking paycheck has grown for so long that we're still so far behind that you could be in a position where you're making more than you've ever made and you're still struggling more than you've ever struggled. So again, a lot of people not invested in the stock market. A lot of people don't give a fuck about 401ks or have any involvement in 401ks. Okay. So not everybody is making money. Quite the opposite. A lot of people are struggling in this country. A lot of people don't have an attachment to the stock markets and the 7 or 8 different AI companies propping that shit up at this point in time. A lot of people live paycheck to paycheck, if not fucking less than that, right? A lot of people are going fucking hand to mouth. A lot of people are robbing Peter to pay Paul so they can pay a bill to keep the lights on tonight. So they may have to go without cable for a couple days, but at least they'll have lights on. Or, let's pay the energy bill this month. We won't have lights on, but we'll pay that, like whatever the fuck it may be. You know, that's what people are doing and facing in this country right now just to live their daily lives. And it's fucking sickening that these people are so far removed, which kind of gives us a good setup for the next clip, which is fucking dickhead Troy Nels telling everybody he's going to be going to eat steak and lobster while people are in the streets panning for fucking change, trying to get a bite to eat. You know, but again, I digress. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but listen to Dana Perino, and then let's look at the reaction of the Fox, you know, her co-host here and what she's saying, because she's calling it out, you know, and like I said, credit where credit is due. She's calling out at least a little bit of hypocrisy here. She's trying to butter it up, absolutely, because she's working for Fox News. I mean, what do you expect? She's buttering it up a little bit. She's trying to make it seem like, well, you know, he can maybe get around this type shit, but she is calling it out, the hypocrisy, the little bit of hypocrisy she's calling out about their, you know, their, you know, bashing of Hunter Biden, and basically they're breezing by the $2 billion that Donald Trump managed to profit at his time as president in his second term.
Country with people going, huh, wait, what? They're not exactly on the most solid ground here. He did a decent job of trying to get the ball down the field a little bit.
Oh, he's not on the most solid ground. As he told Americans, he doesn't give a shit about their financial situation, as you literally showing B-roll of him climbing onto his $400 million Qatari gift, right? Which cost the U.S. taxpayer God knows how much to refit. And Donald Trump's going to take this with him for his presidential library when he gets out of office. So this is a big gift that the United States taxpayer funded to fucking make the biggest and baddest and most technologically advanced aircraft on the world. And then he's just going to take it with him. Okay. It's just a big gift. Apparently he wants to think to the United States. Meanwhile, it's going in his fucking will at the end of his life. I can guarantee you that. But, you know, as they're showing this shit on B-roll, they're talking about, you know, the affordability and how much people are making and shit. And it's crazy. You know what I mean? Couldn't be farther from the truth.
To deflect, but there's no doubt about that. But it's also the other questions of like, but then your children are involved in this. And if you remember, we spent a lot of time talking about.
Look at all of their faces right now. Look at the four who aren't Dana Perino, because she started it with, hey, they had a good response. And they're like, that's right. Yeah. And then she starts bringing up what's a much more valid point, and they all just stiffen up.
Spent a lot of time talking about Hunter Biden. Mm-hmm. Maybe his mistake was only asking for $10 million from Ukraine, because maybe he wasn't smart enough to figure everything else out. These people are businessmen, and they know what they're doing. And look at their big plans, and they're not afraid to take a risk. And if you take a risk, that's how you can make a little bit of money. But you also have to have someone to help maybe open a door, and that's what's happening.
The decisions. That's what
he's.
I thought it was a clever retort when he said, "How's your 401k doing?" And I think
so this is them again, knowing that segment didn't go very well based on what Dana said, so they have to try to end it on a high note where they're like, yo, that line, everything that you just said, Dana, is true, and I know it's fucking ridiculous for the president to be profiting even a red cent on all of these deals, especially with foreign countries, but we're going to breeze by that, because you know that line about the 401ks was a doozy. Boy, did he shoot back at reporters with that one, so let's end on that high note. But yeah, that was at least a little bit of truth there, a little bit of truth-telling from Dana Perino about the hypocrisy, again, with, a heavy dosing of whitewashing by Fox News. But again, if you read the forest through the trees, it's typically not even, truth isn't told even to that extent on Fox News very often. So, just wanted to give a little credit where credit is due for Dana, even recognizing how stupid they look. But speaking of looking stupid, here's Troy Nels. I don't know if you've seen this make your way around social media just yet today, but boy, oh boy, is this pissing some people off. Oh boy, is this pissing off some hard-working individuals in this country. For this dickhead, for this prick to do the job that he does, and then to go on at the end of this video and to say that 60% of Americans don't work as hard as he works. That's why they can't afford lobster tails. That's why they can't afford steak on the 4th of July, because they don't work as hard as this piece of shit who shows up like this every single day, kisses Donald Trump's ass for a little bit, shines his shoes, and then goes home to do a few interviews with Fox News and shit. And he's going to say he works harder than 60% of blue-collar Americans, and are Americans just in general. We got news for you here, buddy. We got a little saying, and it goes, hey, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? But again, let's play this clip. This is posted by Midas Touch, by Pablo Reports. And he's asking some good questions. He actually asked a pretty good question here at the end to get Troy Nels to say what he said. So I'll play this real quick, and then we'll kind of talk about it. It's about 1:45, and then we'll go over it afterwards.
Real quick, how do House Republicans make the case that you're fighting for affordability when you go back to your districts?
Affordability? What are you talking about?
Well, affordability is the big...
I'm going to go there tomorrow. Over the 4th. I'm going to get me a couple of lobster tails. I'm going to get me some nice ribeyes. I'm going to sit in my backyard with my family, my neighbors, and we're going to be enjoying the 4th, celebrating 250 years, the birthday. We're going to be celebrating the greatest president of my lifetime, Donald J. Trump. Maybe watch some fireworks. Won't be up here. It's going to be too hot, right? And I'm in bed at 11 o'clock. I heard the fireworks ain't going off till 11 o'clock Eastern on the 4th of July. I probably have to sleep through that one. But listen, everybody understands you're going to see a little increase in energy prices because of Iran. I mean, come on, people aren't stupid. You realize that when you have a conflict Iran. But I think in the end, the short-term increase in some of the costs of energy, gasoline and stuff is temporary. But President Trump has made it very clear to these companies, don't be gouging, no price gouging. I mean, energy, what? Oil was at $69 the other day, 72 today. Prices got to come down. Don't take advantage of the American people. To me, it's almost criminal. So we got to do that. We have to do that. And I think and
again, this is a perfect response by Pablo here, where he asked, what do you say to the Americans that are out there struggling, that can't afford the lobster tails or ribeyes that you speak of, that you're going to be sucking on during the 4th of July, right? And that's a perfect fucking question, a perfect fucking framing, and definitely catches Troy Nell's kind of off guard, which leads him to this this kind of, off-cuff remark that he makes about working harder than 60% of this country, which is, again, the clip that we're using here. So well done in bringing this up from him.
The overall goal and objective is to make sure Iran never has a nuclear weapon. So I'm okay with the increase in fuel because you knew it was going to happen with oil and the Strait and everything. But it's a temporary issue.
You think the 60% of Americans who are living paycheck to paycheck can afford lobster tails and ribeyes and all of that?
Maybe not. Maybe the 60% of America don't work as hard as I do either. I mean, I don't know.
What a dick. Are you shitting me? And your little fucking tie, your little suit, walking out of your little cushy office. Nobody works harder than you do, huh? You shit me? I got a bunch of plumbers. I know a bunch of roofers. I know a bunch of masons. I know a bunch of carpenters. Okay. I know a bunch of landscapers that have something to say about that right now. I know a bunch of people that work in the restaurant industry, the sales industry, right? That have a lot to say about that right now. Telling fucking the American people, and again, add this to the list of things that we can use as ammunition, okay? Donald Trump doesn't care about the American people, doesn't think about your financial situation, right? The I love inflation. There's a ton of them that we can throw in there. Well, add this one to the list. Okay, because what do you guys do? People out there working 14, 15 hours a day in fucking mines, out in oil fields, right? Are those people going to look at this and say, no, yeah, I see Troy Nels, and he looks like he definitely works harder than I do. That's why he should be able to afford the lobster tails. That's why he should be able to afford the fucking ribeye steaks of the 4th of July. And I'm probably working on the 4th of July, right? Knowing a lot of these different industries. I don't give a shit about a lot of that, right? A lot of them will. Some of them, will say that they're going to be off, but they're kind of working under the table because they need the money type shit, right? So again, Troy Nelson, there's so much to call out here, where he kind of brushes off affordability. Did you hear the first question? Wait to listen to how he responds right off the bat to the affordability question, or the question about affordability.
Real quick, how do House Republicans make the case that you're fighting for affordability when you go back to your districts?
Affordability? What are you talking about?
Affordability? What are you talking about? I don't know. The American people that are struggling. Did you not hear the fucking question, dumbass? He's talking about the American people that are struggling. What do you got to say about that? The people that were promised, the lowering of cost in pretty much every aspect of their daily life by Donald Trump when he was campaigning, right? The affordability crisis that we're going through, the housing crisis that we're going through, the dramatic rise in gas prices that we've seen, right? The dramatic rise in grocery prices that we've seen, the dramatic rise in rent, the fact that Donald Trump canceled the signing of the bipartisan housing bill, which was going to be a step in the right direction for the first time in quite some fucking time. Was there absolutely, more work to be done? Could we push that a lot further? Absolutely. But was it a step in the right direction? It sure the fuck was. But nope, didn't want to see that happen. God forbid the American people see some sort of fucking relief as it pertains to rent, as it pertains to, just the amount of housing that's on the markets. And again, the pricing of those houses. God forbid, right? But this dickhead, fuck talking affordability. I got lobster tails hanging out my asshole. What do you mean? What's the problem here, people? What are we doing? I'm getting paid an exorbitant amount. I get paid buku dollars for my fucking TV, my TV appearances, right? I do appearances all over the place. I'm getting insider information on what fucking stock trades to make. What are you talking about affordability? Come over my house. I got all the steak and lobster you can need. Again, just the fact that he was that dismissive right off the bat should tell you everything you need to know.
I'm going to go there tomorrow. Over the 4th. I'm going to get me a couple big lobster tails. I'm going to get me some nice ribeyes. I'm going to sit in my backyard with my family, my neighbors.
There you go. Wouldn't that be nice? Isn't that nice? A lot of people listening to that don't have a backyard to go to, right? Don't have a place to put their family right now. We're struggling that bad that they don't even have that to celebrate on the 4th of July. But don't worry. Troy Nell's got you covered. Got all the lobster tails you want. And you know what fucking... you know what Jordan Peterson said about lobsters, right? You know
they've been conserved since the time of lobsters, right? There weren't trees around when lobsters first manifested themselves on the planet.
You think Troy Nels knows that? I'm pretty sure Troy Nels knows that. So, again, that was Troy Nels showing everybody what a dickhead he was. That kind of brings us into the next aspect of the dickheads we have to cover, and this moron. Like I said, I know a lot of people coming over from Hal's chat just suffered through a lot of this speech, if not the entirety of the speech, so I'm not going to subject you to too much. We'll just kind of do the general overview just in case there are people that weren't in Hal's chat, which I'm sure there are in here. But, yeah, this was, again, just adding to the ridiculousness of the day. We had some very historic and poignant things happen, again, as we covered with the Air Force major, basically sacrificing his military career and landing himself inside of a court martial, basically for the for what he espoused and calling for the impeachment, removal, and conviction of Donald Trump. And then we had this on the flip side of this moron, and I'm sure you've seen the clip. I don't know if I'll play. Hold on, I don't know if he has it here, but let me see. I'm going to cancel these out. Stick with me for a sec because we might as well go over it. We might as well go over it because I know I have a little bit of nuance to the situation. But let me see here. We'll see if I can. I'll see if I can because I know you guys have seen it. Trump, Teddy Roosevelt. You guys have seen it. Stick with me for a second. I'll find it here. No, I don't care where he had the. Yeah, here we go. Oh, hold on. I got to go back. My browser lost connection for crying out loud. Hold on. I got to go back. And like I said, a little bit of nuance to add to this. I don't think it's as advertised by a lot of people. But again, I don't think it changes the insanity of the situation, let's just say. But yeah, you got it. Oh, fuck me. Woosa. So for those of you who are not up to speed or haven't seen this making its way around social media, Donald Trump visited the Teddy Roosevelt Library opening, and they laid out the red carpet for him, and he's got a recording that's going to be busting over the loudspeakers and shit. And they did everything they possibly could to butter up Donald Trump, right? So this is a moment where, and again, this is the nuance that I'm adding. I'm not sure of this, but this is just what I'm suspecting. I'm suspecting that this is one of those like interactive type things that you could do where the thing on the screen, the AI on the screen can kind of respond to you. I'm not 100% sure, or it's like his team was like, can we get a clip of you? Maybe, I don't know. Either way, it's ridiculous. Like I said, I'm not trying to make it seem like it's not asinine, ridiculous, and stupid because it is. Regardless, no matter what we say, no matter what happens, no matter what the reality of the situation is, it's insane. Okay, and it's like it's like a field trip for people at the home. Basically, is what we're looking at here. But this is Donald Trump, and people are suspecting that he thinks he's actually talking to Teddy Roosevelt. I'm trying here. I'm trying. That's about the most nuance I could put on this. I know. And there's no excuses being made because, like I said, it's asinine and ludicrous no matter what we say about it. But I think what I'm suspecting, at least, and correct me if I'm wrong, I may be totally wrong, but I think it's one of those interactive type things, you know what I'm saying? Because you can see above his head, there's a screen with like the words going on it, you know, for people that can't. That's what I'm guessing. Otherwise, the only other explanation is that Donald Trump is that he really thought he was talking to the AI Teddy Roosevelt. That's the only other thing. So I know I'm probably being far too generous in this situation, but there's other people there. You know what I mean? There's people filming. I can't get myself to believe that he's talking to this thing because he thinks it's real. Because he thinks it's real. All right, woosah. All right. Woosah. All right, but here we go. I'll play it. You guys let me know what you guys think in the chat on what's going on here. Again, this is from Trump's visit to the Teddy Roosevelt Library. And this is him being greeted by an AI Teddy Roosevelt. And apparently Donald Trump loving it so much that he decided to respond. I'm playing it. Sorry. Let me know what you think.
Every day a president faces storms most people never see. Keep your nerve and remember the nation comes first. You get through. I know you know that feeling yourself.
Well, I appreciate those words. Those words are fantastic. And I just want to say it's an honor to be with you today. We are making a little bit of a tour. Some of the fantastic things you've done.
Every day a president faces storms most people never see.
Oh my God. So like I said, there's two options here. There's two options as I see it. It's supposed to be like an interactive thing because he's standing at like a, you know, he's standing at like a podium because that's the only thing. That's the reason that I think this is because he's standing at like a podium. It's clearly supposed to be like, I don't know, maybe like choose your own adventure. The more I think about it, the worse it gets. The more I think about it, the worse it gets. Giving the old 80-year-old decrepit son of a bitch who doesn't know his own name half the time, just like a choose your own ending with Teddy Roosevelt. Yeah, have at it, boss. But I'm suspecting, if I can get this out without cracking up, that it's like an interactive thing. Like you can press a button maybe and get, I don't know. The only other option is that he's really talking to this thing. I'm trying. I am. I promise I am. And thank you. We just hit our goal. Thank you guys for getting us to the goal. I very much appreciate that. I really do. Thank you guys so much. In just over an hour hitting that goal. I love you guys in the chat. Thank you for supporting this community the way that you do. It really means the world to me. As I'm crying, I promise I'm not crying because of the support. Just one more time, because I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think in the chat? What do you guys think in the chat? I'm dying to know, because there's got to be an explanation for this, right? Like, I've covered Donald Trump for as long as anybody has as far as his political run is concerned, and believe me, I've seen it all. And I know not to kind of rule anything out as far as the possibilities are concerned, but what do you am I being too generous? Oh, fuck. I don't, it has to be. Somebody said it is an AI. It is an AI interactive. See, I knew it. And again, I appreciate you for chiming in there. And again, this doesn't make it any less crazy. It really doesn't. Because I think if I was the president, I'd pass on this look. Optically, I'd be like, okay, I'm not going to sit there and speak to the AI. I know, even if I'm just hypothetically speaking in a situation where I was in his shoes, right? I'd be like, no, that's not happening. We're not putting that. I'm not speaking to a fucking wall. I'm not speaking to an AI. I know that you know that I know that it's fake, but people watching this are definitely going to question at home whether or not I'm sitting here speaking to the wall. You know what I mean? So that ain't happening, right? Like, he can do his spiel. Awesome. Thank you. And we can keep it moving, but I'm not speaking to the AI. Ain't fucking happening. That's what I would say in this position. But Donald Trump was having the time of his life here, controlling AI Teddy Roosevelt. But that's my suspicion That's my suspicion. That's just kind of what I'm suspecting is it's like, you know, this interactive, you say something, it maybe responds in the type of way. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know how they have this fucking thing set up, but let's just one more time. And I apologize. I know the volume's not great because it's from Twitter, but I think you guys get the gist of it. And you can see, just in case, I don't know if you can make it out, but the screen above his head has what Teddy Roosevelt is saying, the text of it on there, just in case you can't hear what he's saying.
Keep your nerve and remember the nation comes first. You get through. I know you know that feeling yourself.
Well, I appreciate those words. Those words are fantastic. And
I appreciate those words. Those words are fantastic.
I just want to say it's an honor to be with you today.
It's an honor to be with you today.
We are making a little bit of a tour.
We are making a little bit of a tour. I don't know what. And again, I'm questioning myself now. What the? What? What could be interactive about what he said, though? You know, what I mean? Like, if it was interactive, you would think it would be like, oh, you know, what year did you do this, or what do you remember? Something where it would be like, you know, you could bring up a fact or a date or something that he did in history. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I figure it would be interactive. You don't just like respond like a normal conversation. Even if it is interactive. Like, I love those words. Those are fantastic words. Like, the AI is going to be like, oh, yeah, thanks. I appreciate that you like my words. You know? We're on a little bit of a tour. Like, the AI is going to respond to that. Like, it's going to be like, oh, sweet. Enjoy the tour. You know, thank you. Awesome. Thank you for showing up today. So it doesn't even make sense that way. Even if it is interactive, his responses don't like it doesn't warrant another response from Teddy Roosevelt or the AI Teddy Roosevelt. You know what I mean? So if it was interactive, it would be like, you know, what date? How is this date in history that you are a part of? You know, anything you can think of as far as Teddy Roosevelt's history is concerned, but not that much. Holy shit. All right, let's let's get out of that for a second. Oh my God, before I have an aneurysm. That is ridiculous. No matter which way you spin it. And again, I don't care what the explanation is. It's still ridiculous. It's still like, you know, a child on a field trip, or again, you trying to take your grandfather out of the home for the day so you can get the blood flowing again in his legs because he's been sitting for so long. And you're like, what are we doing? You want to go to the Teddy Roosevelt Library? You can talk to the wall a couple times. We get an AI thing you can have a conversation with all day long. All right, but like I said, I know there's a lot of you coming from Hal's chat that watched a good portion, if not the entirety, of Trump's speech here. So we don't have to go through a ton of them. There was one here that pertains to the conversation that he did have, which is this clip where he's speaking about that exact moment that we just saw. And again, here's the clip. Because listen, see if this changes any of the context in this. Because he says, let me go back. He says, I even had a conversation with Theodore Roosevelt. I said, what do you think about the Panama Canal? Do you consider it the greatest achievement? And how do you feel about the fact that Democrats gave the Panama Canal away for $1? Oh, like at least the first one, right? The first one I could gather is like, you know, an interactive response could be kind of transmitted back to him as far as that one is concerned about the Panama Canal. You know, is that your greatest achievement? And he could, the AI would spit back some kind of facts about the Panama Canal. But like, what do you expect him to say about Democrats giving it away for the $1? You think he's supposed to like, he's going to spit out some partisan bullshit? You know what I mean? He's going to start spitting out some Trump rhetoric about Democrats. Oh, good Lord almighty. How is this real time? How is this the fucking timeline we're in? All right, but here's again where he's talking about his conversation with Teddy Roosevelt.
Wow, incredible. I even had a conversation with Theodore Roosevelt. I said, what did you think about the Panama Canal? Do you consider that your greatest achievement? How do you feel about the fact that the Democrats gave the Panama Canal away to Panama for $1?
So again, talking about his conversation with Teddy Roosevelt. And like I said, there's a bunch of these to go through, and not one of them is sane whatsoever. He's talking about he tracked a 1,200-pound grizzly. My boys all know about that. I say, are grizzlies dangerous? Are grizzly bears dangerous? like, because he doesn't know, and apparently he doesn't think anybody else knows. Much like nobody knows there's a B at the end of dumb. I bet you didn't know that. He says, I'm right here in front of you. How do you feel about being the begin the killing? That's a little different kind of guy, yada, yada, yada. Talking about the Rough Riders. Speaking of Cuba, after many, many decades, it's coming our way. So again, threatening the takeover of Cuba. His son was brave. It's genetics. Again, talking about Teddy Roosevelt, yada, yada, yada. Trump jokes about going to award himself one of his son's medals of honor for taking on Russia, Russia, Russia. It's another moment people are talking about. Calling Democrats nasty people. This is another one that I would just we'll end on this one as far as Trump's speech is concerned here at the Teddy Roosevelt Library, because again, I won't subject you to the nonsense, to the craziness. But this is what everybody's calling out as far as one of the crazier moments, where Donald Trump says it's going to be 107 degrees on July 4th, but he's going to try to speak as long as humanly possible. And I don't think there's many people in this chat right now. They're going to kind of talk him off that ledge. You know what I mean? I don't think there's many people in the chat right now that are going to say, hey, maybe that 80-year-old shouldn't sit in 107-degree heat for as long as humanly possible without any water. You know, I'm just thinking the sentiment isn't like, that's probably a good idea not to keep the president in the hot sun. I'm just thinking, go as long as you want. How about that? I bet you can't do 4 hours. I bet you can't. I bet you won't, you pussy. You won't do 4 hours in 110-degree heat. Come on. I bet you won't. I bet you won't. If we start saying he won't, do you think he will? You know what I mean? If we start saying he can't speak for 4 hours, you think it'll get through to him and he'll try to speak for 4 hours in 107-degree heat? Well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. Somebody said nobody should. I know one person that should. I know one person that should. But you're right. Generally speaking, health-wise, not good for anybody. Including the people that are, going to be in the crowd. I mean, we've seen Trump rally, Trump speech after Trump speech where people are passing out in the crowd. And I don't think any of them were at the levels of 107 degrees, maybe some of them in Vegas. But again, I'm sure you guys have seen on this channel, we've played time and time again, people passing out at these Trump rallies. So again, not thinking about anybody else but himself. But in this case, I don't think we mind. I don't think we mind. Cook them. Cook them. All right, but this is where he's talking about he's gonna try to talk for as long as possible.
On July 4th, it's going to be approximately 107 degrees out. And I'm going to go and I'm going to make a really long speech just to show that I can do anything. It's going to be 107.
That's great. So that's again where he says it's going to be 107. He's going to make a really long speech, but I won't subject you to any more of the craziness. But I just want you to know that all of it was insane. Every word from start to finish in Donald Trump's speech was utter insanity. But again, as long as you guys recognize that, no sense in subjecting you guys to the entirety of that. But this is where we left off on the earlier show with this Good Liars video. And there was just a couple more minutes of this that I wanted to get into just to kind of drive home the fact that these are the people that are still left. So when you're out there and you're like, well, there's still people that can be turned. There's still people that can see the light. Nah, I'm not so sure. I think we got them all at this point. I think the people that are left supporting this administration, again, riding the Titanic down with the iceberg, aren't going anywhere. Okay, they're going to be sitting there right next to the band as the violin's playing, as they start fucking drowning in that really cold, frigid water. And this kind of drills that home. This drives that point home. The people that have the most ridiculous shit to say, as I believe this is Donald Trump's like the speech he gave at America 250 at the little fair that he fucking had and canceled that nobody showed up to. So, all right, let's just see if we can get into, like I said, a couple more minutes of this, and then we get into our Ukraine coverage. We got some posts from Jay in Kyiv to come. We got some posts about in a video about the pressures being put on Putin, and then I want to get into a little bit of the maps to kind of distinguish what's right, what's wrong, what's propaganda, and what's reality. Stemming from the news coming from in and around Kostyantynivka, and then we got some other videos to take a look at as well. But all right, let's see if we can get through a couple more minutes of this and the ridiculousness of the people that are showing up to these rallies still support Donald Trump. Again, we continue to tell you that these are going to be the sycophant, like the most sycophantic of sycophantic people, the worst of the worst, the dumbest of the dumb. And that's exactly what we're getting from this video, I assure you. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for showing out tonight. Really do appreciate you guys for letting me and getting me to that goal. Not only that, but for the 384, nearly 400 people that are watching this evening, very much appreciate it. If you can share this out. If you haven't hit that like button, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you a dime. It doesn't cost you a cent even. It's free. free to do so. We like free. Free is good. Free is good, but it really helps the channel in all seriousness. So very much appreciate you guys. There's a Venmo up in the corner if you feel like sending in a buck or two to support the channel. If you like independent creators, if you like independent channels that don't, again, show you guys bullshit as far as commercials, don't sell you bullshit as far as green juice mattresses and a way to find out your ancestry or whatever the fuck's going on now online. But we don't charge for Substack. We don't hide content behind a paywall. None of those things. We try to do things the right way here, which is, speaking our mind freely without anybody, any corporations, anybody on the outside kind of telling us what we can and cannot speak about. And it's only with your help, your generosity, and your support of the channel that we can continue to do this. And like I said, one day we're going to make this a profitable venture. One day, I assure you, we're going to be in the green. We're going to be in the green. I don't know when it's going to come. Could be a long time. I might have a lot more gray hairs, but I assure you, we're going to stick it out. Not only until that time comes, but well beyond that time. So very much appreciated. Thank you again for hitting the goal. And again, this is the Good Liars, and this is titled The Rally to End All Rallies. We've gone over a couple minutes of this, almost 3 minutes this morning, and we're just going to dive into a couple more minutes before we get into some of the Ukraine coverage. All right. Appreciate you guys.
He's like famously, like there's a lot of divisions in the country right now.
Divisive.
Yes.
However, I think that people are kind of starting to have their eyes opened.
Okay.
And he's really showing that politics aside, we're all Americans.
Okay.
And I've seen a lot of people, myself included,
I'm sorry. So the Americans, do you mean like the Americans that have been wrapped up in the, the whole DHS and ICE, action that's been going on across this country? Did you mean the Americans that were shot in broad daylight in the streets of this country? Is that how he's bringing us together? Like all the people that he's trying to deport to different random, is that how he's trying to bring everybody together? I'm just curious, because this is the woman that, again, the one question that these people are being asked is like, you think Donald Trump's the most consequential president? You think he's the best president? What's one achievement that you could show me or tell me that proves or shows or justifies that type of a comment? And then what she responded with is kind of the way that he's bringing the country together, which is utter absurdity, right? Which is just absolute nonsense, considering the divisive nature of politics in this country has never been more divisive, I don't believe. If it was any more divisive, I think there'd be two sides, and I think we'd be calling it a civil war at this point. But she obviously lives in an alternate universe. She's obviously not from the same planet and doesn't see the same things that we see with our own eyes, which is why she gave the response that she did give.
have come from other political belief systems and united under the idea that America is truly great.
Because he's, called people scum. He called people vermin.
Yeah,
he called
right.
Democrats. He said some Democrats should be arrested and potentially retrue something about lawmakers like getting shot for treason, hung for treason. Is that a uniting message?
Yeah, is that
It
uniting?
may not sound like it, but
But it is? I'm sorry. Are you going to say, but it is? It may not sound like it's uniting when he tells the American people that, United States military service members and politicians should be strung up. That's definitely unifying, if anything.
I don't know. I think overall, I've probably said some pretty harsh things about people I disagreed with as well.
Yeah, how many times you run for president? How many times have you been elected president of this country? And have you ever told somebody that you're going to kill them online? Have you ever told that, said that people should be put to death because they have one set of beliefs or another set of beliefs? I'm just curious because that's what we're talking about. I know you're trying to compare yourself now to the president, which is, again, insane. But, that fits right in line with the people that are attending this event.
So
You call for their death?
No.
I think in the end, we're just going to have to rough
This
them
is a
up
good
a little
one.
bit
This
more
is
to
a
get
good
them
one.
into submission.
When you say rough them up more, you mean bomb Iran more?
Yes, take out some more of their infrastructure.
You seem to have
And then
some-
this guy's worst enemy shows up, most maggots' worst enemy, which is a map. And then the good liars here proceeds to ask him to point out Iran on a map. Again, the country that he just said needs to be bombed into submission, right? Which again, I don't know if he notices this. I don't know if he recognizes this, but when he says an entire country needs to be bombed into submission, that entails a lot of deaths. That entails a lot of civilians and innocent people, women and children being wrapped up in those bombing campaigns. I'm not sure if he recognizes that. But again, he's really scared right now because the piece of paper with the map just came out. And again, the good liars asked him to point out Iran on a map. And I'm pretty sure he points out Italy, which is even stupider, because if anything, even people that don't know geography, even if you suck at maps, like I think everybody knows what Italy looks like in the shape of Italy, and people calling it the boot, and you like understand, like you didn't know that's where it was. A lot of people could probably point out Europe, I would hope at least. But again, watch him try to point out Iran on this map.
Kind of strong opinions on the Iran war. Some ideas about how maybe you believe we're going to win in our negotiations, right?
Yes.
All right. Just for our viewers, just point it out on the map for us so we know where Iran is, and then we know exactly where we're talking about.
Okay. Oh, you want me to point it out?
Yeah.
I would say somewhere in here, but I'm not sure. I how'd you say? I always see the little picture. I've never seen it like there.
Oh, okay.
I've only seen the little picture. What the fuck does that mean? You've never seen the picture of the globe? You've never seen a globe? What do you mean? You've only seen the little picture. Iran's a huge country. So any picture you're seeing of Iran must be a big picture. You know what I mean? On the face of it. So for him to not understand, and this is what I mean by not being able to be shamed. Like these people, he just told this guy in front of a camera with the microphone in front of his face that he has no idea where Iran is, okay? Couldn't point out Iran on a map, which is one of the biggest running jokes, I think, about Americans. Like the passport, which is kind of stupid considering the size of our country and the diversity of our country and kind of like, you know, the geographical differences we have in different states and in areas of our country. We don't necessarily need a passport. We have a ton of different things that we can see, a ton of different climates that we can see inside of our own country. So that's kind of a little bit horse shit, but to the one where it's like, you know, most Americans couldn't find, you know, this country or that country on a map. Like, I don't know, he's really not doing us any favors here. You know what I mean? Like, he's really not helping us out by any stretch of the imagination as far as that little, what's the word that I'm looking for? That little fucking statement about the United States and people of the United States is concerned.
Somewhere in the Middle East. And so that's the reason why I was thinking in this zone. But I don't
In that
know.
area. Well,
I'm guessing.
yeah, well, you just seem to know a lot about it or have strong opinions on it.
Well, I have strong opinions about it, but, you know, I haven't sat down there
Right.
and did push pins on it.
Just because I asked for the entire country to be bombed doesn't mean I can point it out on a map there, genius. What do you think I am, Einstein? Huh? You think I know that whole goddamn world in my hand right now? Oh, man. We are fucking so fried. We are fried, baby.
On a wall map, if you know what I mean.
No, sorry. But, you know, it's right there. But you were pointing at Italy, I think.
Well, I just looked for the gray. I know.
You were pointing at Italy, I think. Holy shit. Unreal. But it goes on.
So it's a little small area.
Yeah. It's over here. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
This hat says Trump was right about everything.
President Trump wore this hat a lot for a while.
You think Trump was right about everything?
Absolutely. I've not found a single thing he wasn't right about yet. Well,
He said he was going to end the war in Ukraine.
Like, that's the levels of fucking delusion, though. Like, I know it's ridiculous. You hear somebody say that he's never been wrong about anything and you laugh it off and you think it's like, that's the level of delusion. That's the level of sycophancy that is still left. That's what's remaining of the MAGA cult. Okay. These are the people. This is the base now. Right. I mean, there's still, you know, fringe morons that probably won't speak up against him in the Republican and conservative movements. But these are the morons that are out there freely and willingly, wearing the fight T-shirts, got the fucking Make America Great hat again on. Trump was right about these are the fucking people. OK, not a brain cell to be had between these two fucking schmucks. Not a single cell floating around in the dome pieces underneath these two fucking Chinese made hats. Not a one.
On the first day. Did that end?
No, it did not.
He said he was going to end the conflict in Gaza on the first day. Did that happen on the first day?
No, it did not.
Instead of actually fixing the problem. See, that's the problem. You got too many people playing games. You can't have a game. This is a problem. Here it is. Let's get it done. No games. Get no bullshit. Let's get it done now.
And it's the fucking confidence too. It's like that arrogant confidence that you see with like social media creators on the Republican side, MAGA creators that think that they're making this video that is flexing on people, but it's just the opposite of a flex. And every statement they made, every word that they said in their really fucking arrogantly done, confidently done video is just incorrect, factually incorrect and wrong. Like, this is what I get from that. That's the vibe that I get. Like, she thinks she's so fucking right. She thinks she's slaying in this interview, and she couldn't be more wrong.
It's simple. Life is simple. We don't play games. And these Democrats...
Life is anything but simple. Life is fucking anything but simple. Everything but simple. One of the most complicated fucking things that you could possibly speak of is life itself, and what people have to go through in their life is just the nuances, the relationship, the emotions, the settings, the people, like all of it is fucking like, it's just insane to think that it's simple. But when you're that simple minded, everything seems simple. This is why we always tell you to be aware of leaders, of politicians, of people that give you very simple solutions to complex problems, right? Something that we've seen in history with autocrats and dictators time and time again. Very complicated issues, whether it be countries coming out of depression, coming out of war. Next thing you know, they're turning to the extremists that just promise them work, bread, peace, all of these things that sound very nice at a moment where inflation is out of control. Homelessness is out of control. Wars are raging. Civil war is a thing that could be a possibility. Like, people look towards those really simple solutions. When you hear bread, work, and peace, we're going to have jobs for the people. Like, that tends to resonate no matter who's saying it, which is why Hitler was an outcast while, the Weimar Republic was seemingly doing okay. And then as soon as everything went to shit, fucking people started looking more and more towards the Nazi Party and the things that they were espousing and promising as being the way forward. So no different here as far as that's concerned. You know what I mean?
On crack, they're half on drugs. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't have a brain. I was just in a meeting yesterday. I got lucky, and it was really embarrassing to see that these are actually working in our cabinet. It's disgusting. It's a disgrace.
Who are the bad people in his own cabinet that he picked?
In his cabinet. I'm talking about like this Democratic, some of the things that are going on. It's embarrassing. If I was a business owner and I was hiring some of these people in there, I wouldn't hire them. I wouldn't like the Democrats. I wouldn't hire him. They don't work. They're not on time. They don't fulfill their duties. Why?
just the most broad generalizations, just the most broad statements you could possibly paint with a broad brush. Like, oh yeah, all Democrats are late. No Democrats work. Like, come on. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, if we're going to talk about fat, lazy slobs, the first place that we're going to point down to is a lot of these red states, okay? If we're going to talk about people sucking off the teat of the federal government, the first place we're going to look is a lot of these fucking red states. If we're going to talk about obesity and lack of education, the first place we're going to look is a lot of these fucking red states. So laughable on its face, lady, and the confidence in which you're saying it with just makes me want to punch myself in the fucking face.
Have them. And not to mention, they get people killed with their bad decisions, or they cost us.
Oh, you mean like stripping people of health care? You mean like stripping funding for cancer research funding? You know what I mean? Like all of the people that now have been pretty much proven that are going to be dead or dying from, again, Donald Trump's policies or what Elon Musk was responsible for with Doge. Like, again, no, you're talking about people dying, like, or how about Americans in the streets being shot by ICE? Or how about the people being held in captivity in a lot of these concentration camp-like fucking places that we have all over the country in these horrendous conditions, held without warrant, held without trial, shitty food, if any at all. How about those things? Are you pissed about that? No, nothing. I didn't hear none of that come out of your mouth. That's weird.
More money. That's insane.
Click.
People have not died because of wars in the past, except for Ukraine. How many people?
Right, except for Ukraine. Yeah. Well, and then you had
I'm sorry. What the fuck did he just say? Did he say nobody's died in wars besides Ukraine? What was that? I'm sorry. We'll end on this note and we'll go on to the Ukraine coverage that I have set up for us here. But I got to know what this guy said.
More money. That's insane.
Click.
People have not died because of wars in the past, except for Ukraine.
People have not died because of wars. Is that what he said? People have not died because of wars besides Ukraine.
How many people?
Right, except for Ukraine. Yeah. Well, and then
you should have stayed at home, brother. You should have stayed your ass at home. You really should have. And we won't play it, but there's also another video of this lady in the purple hat just above me where she's trying to get everybody to believe that you're no longer allowed to wave a flag in Europe. She's really saying that. She's 100% serious, thinks that's a thing in Europe. You're no longer allowed to wave your flag in Europe. It's just you're going to be imprisoned if you do so. She 1,000% believes it. But this asshole in front of the camera here being talked to should have stayed his ass at home. He doesn't want to be here. He doesn't know shit about shit, okay? His wife is the fucking lunatic. His wife is the one that's been doing and digging around in all the fucking QAnon search sites and shit. Like, she's been on all the chat groups, and she knows all the gematria and all that. But this guy doesn't know dick from dick. But he wanted to get his moment in the spotlight. He wanted his 5 minutes of fame having the interview without his wife around. And that's what he came up with, apparently. Many people have not died during wars, only in Ukraine. I'm not sure what that means at all. Clearly not true if that's what he meant. But all right, let's dive on to a little bit of what's going on in Ukraine here. I know I have a couple posts here by Jay in Kyiv, just going through some of the, the ongoing Russian fuel crisis and how far that spread. So I figure we'll start here, and then we'll go on to a little bit of the pressure is being put on Vladimir Putin and kind of the actions that has led to. I know some reporting that I've seen has shown that his yachts have kind of been on the move lately, which kind of shows a little bit of paranoia. I'm not sure if he's worried about, kind of the upcoming political views inside of Turkey or in other places in that area. Or again, he's worried about the Ukrainians being able to get to these billion-dollar ships that he's got. But they seemingly were on the move. But this is from Jay in Kyiv. This says Russia's fuel crisis is likely to soon take over an even darker turn as Ukrainian drones have today reached Omsk, which is 2,200 kilometers from Ukraine and home to the nation's largest refinery, with roughly 8% of Russia's total refueling capacity, or refining capacity. My apologies, I misspelled there. But again, we've seen strikes as far as 5,000 kilometers away in Chita. Okay, so this is about half that distance. So we're not talking about distance here. We are talking about the ability that the Ukrainians have to target that deep inside of Russia against their largest fucking refinery, which is something that you would think would have pretty substantial and prominent air defenses in place, right? You would at least think that if you were a Russian, if you would at least think that if you were part of the Russian military, because that's what you're being told by the Kremlin, that all of these prominent positions, all of these really important sites throughout the country are some of the most heavily defended areas on the planet. Meanwhile, the Ukrainians are having success after success after success. I'm not sure if this is a video or a picture, but you can see the smoke in the background depicting and detailing some of the effective Ukrainian strikes as far as that one is concerned. There was a video here, but I'm not 100% sure. I think it's detailing a message to some of the Russians, possibly about the fuel crisis, possibly about a fuel shortage. But again, I don't speak Russian, so I'm not quite sure what that says on the screen. My guess is that it's a message to people in whatever geographical area inside of Russia about the fuel shortages or about when they can get fuel, something along those lines. And again, I'm just kind of guessing based upon the post from Jay and Kyiv. But there's another one here where Russia's deepening fuel crisis has now hit Kaliningrad, a region totally reliant on imports. Reserves likely now gone, joining the party. And here's a video here from Kaliningrad detailing and showing you some of the long lines that these Russians are facing now here too.
Ребят, у меня уже просто никаких нормальных слов не осталось в моем лексиконе. Я честно говорю.
She says, I've simply run out of decent words in my vocabulary. I'm just fucking blown away.
Я просто в ахуе. Вот смотрите. Вон там заправка Лукойл.
And then, she tries to point out where the gas station is, and it's so far down the road that you actually can't even fucking see it. You can't even see the sign, actually, for the Lukoil petrol station that she's trying to point out, but you can definitely see the line of cars lined up.
А вот это все, блядь, это очередь за бензином.
What is this guy leaking all over the fucking street? You see this thing? Hopefully this isn't a fuel tank. You know what I mean? I'm assuming it's a water truck. Probably a street cleaner if I'm guessing, but he seems to be pissing out water all over the fucking ground.
Это очередь за бензином.
Look at more people adding to the end of it right there. I'm not even sure. You probably can't even see the end because it looks like the street makes a little bit of a curve there. So God knows how long the line actually is.
Здравствуйте, здравствуйте, здравствуйте.
Здравствуйте.
Счастливых вам голодных игр.
What were those? 7305, 6914. Don't even have any of this kind. And what is this? Is this diesel? They don't have any for diesel?
И пусть удача всегда будет с вами.
Sorry, that's probably copyright. Knowing my luck. But look at the lines, guys. And again, we're talking about all different parts. This is Kashivoy Street in Kaliningrad once again. The commotion has been going on for days now. Let me see if that music stopped now. We can get some sound back.
Сотрудники ГАИ, ДПС, там не знаю, как правильно.
Traffic police officers, I'm not sure what they're officially called,
Не реагируют никак.
aren't doing anything about it. There was no one here, and there won't be anyone here.
Никого здесь не было и не будет. Все ездят по встречке.
Everyone's driving in the wrong lane.
Под кирпич. Делают, что хотят. Но никто с этим разбираться и помогать не хочет.
Says nobody wants to sort this out or help out. So again, just detailing the ongoing and ever-spreading fuel crisis that's going on, now hitting Kaliningrad. We've talked about Chita, also 5,000 kilometers away from Ukraine. We've talked about Irkutsk as well, which is just to the west of Chita as well. So again, pretty substantial strikes as far as distance is concerned. But when you start seeing shit like this as a Russian, that the Ukrainians are now targeting the largest of the oil refineries that they have that produces 8% of Russia's total refining capacity, that's going to be a fucking problem. Okay. Not saying that it hasn't been a problem and it isn't a problem right now, but that's a fucking problem. If you're a Russian, that's an issue. You're going to be worried about that one. Not to say that you don't have other things to be worried about as well. But let me see if I can throw this on, because as it pertains to not only the fuel crisis, but this is just a quick 3-minute video here by Canal. And this is about Gerasimov deceiving Putin, because this kind of leads us into our map coverage pretty well. And this is talking about how the high command in Russia for the military is feeding Gerasimov this bullshit information about where they are and how far the military has been pushing, which eventually leads to these bad decisions, bad calls, basically not the correct information that he has, and calling for different actions and movements where that's not possible. So where we're going to be looking at the map and the propaganda kind of surrounding some of the Syriac map and some of the Russian, the Russian statements and claims coming from in and around Kostyantynivka, I figured this would be a good place to start. Like I said, it's a quick video and details pretty much exactly what we're speaking about here as far as the lies and the propaganda being told here by the Russians as it pertains to Kostyantynivka, and obviously other places in and around the front where they try to lie about how much progress they're actually making. So just real quick on this video.
Russian dictator Vladimir Putin's triumphant claims about progress on the front are due to the fact that he's being told achievements that don't correspond to reality. Military expert and former security service of Ukraine officer Ivan Stupik stated in a commentary to Union. That's what his general staff reports to him. They report twice a day. That is, twice a day, military personnel come to him and report on what's happening. But it's no secret that the Russian map of combat operations differs from reality, from deep state, from SW, by 15 to 17 kilometers, he said. That is...
Again, they're speaking about how the difference between the deep state map, and we brought this up the other day. This is exactly what we were showing you, the discrepancy, the difference between the deep state map, the Syriac map. That's why I have the International Study of War. They have their map up as well. So I wanted to take a look at this, but this is what we're talking about. There's some like 15 to 17 miles of difference between the amount of territory that the Russians have taken over or occupy as far as what's being told by the Russians to their leadership and what the Ukrainians and the deep state map are reporting. So I just thought that this would be a perfect place to start detailing the lies and obviously the flag holding ceremonies that the Russians have of getting to a certain geographical place, taking a picture with the flag there, and then trying to say to their high command, to their leaders, that the entirety of their military has now occupied up to that point, where that couldn't be further from the truth. So Gerasimov, thinking that they hold that much territory, is now talking about, using and, engaging in actions in that territory based upon where he thinks the military is. But if they're not there, he's obviously not going to make the right assessment. He's obviously not going to be able to make the right moves, the right calls, as far as troop movements, as far as what direction to fight in, all of those things. And then that goes to put, kind of hamper the frontline offense, and then obviously create chaos on the front lines for the soldiers there.
According to the expert, the Russian combat map shows positions 15 to 17 kilometers more advantageous for them than they actually are. This is because you need to regularly report positive news to the higher-ups. Prolonged negativity, God forbid, or at best something neutral.
And
Still,
again, this is something that we've seen pretty consistently. Anybody that knows their history, guys, you've seen this in military after military after military under autocrats and dictators, okay? Anybody that knows anything about the USSR, Joseph Stalin, and the purges that he was responsible for, and in his own military, in other countries' militaries as well, obviously. But, you know, the fact that the military command around Hitler were too afraid to give him any bad news. They were so afraid that they were afraid to wake him up when the Allies actually and eventually landed on Normandy beaches. Hitler couldn't be fucked. He couldn't be, nobody could be bothered to wake Hitler up. So everybody had to wait till he fucking, arose from his slumber. And then he was told about the landings and he was actually joyful. He was actually ecstatic about it, right? He was happy about it because now he thought he was going to get his opportunity to take out the Allies. This was his moment. And not only that, but he actually thought it was going to be a feint because of obviously the operation that the Allies were engaged in to fake out the Germans, to think that they were going to invade in and around the Pas de Calais, using, Patton and the dummy army with all the, the blow up tanks. I'm sure you've seen a little bit about it, but, the Germans were so wrapped up in that and believed in that so much that Hitler thought that the landings in Normandy was just a feint, was just kind of a distraction to draw in some of the German military, so that when the real landings happened at the Pas de Calais, they weren't going to be able to send the reinforcements that they had in that place. So, well, obviously that was wrong, but that's kind of what we're seeing here. The same thing. A lot of these military commanders know if they go to the high command, they go to their higher ups with consistent bad news, somebody's got to pay the price. Heads have to roll, right? Like we watched, what's the movie with Nicolas Cage? National Treasure, right? And the cop in that, all he kept saying is somebody's got to go to prison. You know what I mean? Somebody has to go to prison. And that's exactly what has to happen here. And what typically does happen in these dictatorial, autocrat-led type of militaries is you just can't go with bad news after bad news after bad news, or your head is going to get chopped off. Okay. And that's what we're seeing here. So they're lying about the progress. They're lying about territory gained, which is then inevitably leading to further inaction, further bad decisions based upon that, the false reporting or the false statements that they're receiving from the people on the front. But just to detail the kind of discrepancies that we're seeing, let me throw this on the screen, because here's Deep State, right? And again, this is today, as of today, 7/1/2026. You can see up in the left-hand corner there is the date. And we'll just scroll in here a little bit, okay? It doesn't seem like much has changed in and around this area from the last few days that I've been looking at it, right? They still, from on this map, have not taken over the entirety of Ivanopilia. They still haven't even taken over Plachivka, right? Which is just right here, as you can see, in that gray zone. It's being battled over. It's being contested. But Deep State, as it's shown here, and as they can prove by reports or what's going on the ground, this is what they're willing to stipulate as far as the movements on the front line. So, as you can see here, Deep State has basically the entirety of Kostyantynivka still either under battle, like it's being disputed, or it's in the hands of the Ukrainians. Now, if you were to go to the Syriac map, let's go over to the Syriac map and let's look at the same position, same day, same place, same area. And we'll go over here and you can see a pretty distinct difference, right? You can see a pretty distinct difference in the territory that the Syriac map, which is the more heavily favoring the Russian side map on this one. Basically, they say they've taken the entirety of Kostyantynivka. They definitely have the entirety of Ivanopilia. They definitely have the entirety of Klashivka. So that's not even a question as it pertains to the Syriac map. And then they've already pushed on to Novogorivka. They've pushed on to different areas and different settlements that are not shown on the Deep State map. So again, here's going back here. We'll go back. They have not made it to Novodimitrivka. That says it's being contested, but doesn't say that there's any red, which shows occupation, which shows control, as far as that's concerned. So that's kind of the huge separation and the huge difference that we've seen. But there's also this interactive map here by the Institute of War that I want to throw on, because this is kind of the, the decider, the changer. We'll kind of use this as the tiebreaker, and we'll see kind of what this shows, and then we can kind of gather from all of these maps what's the truth, right? Because somewhere in the middle of all these maps, I'm sure, lays the actual truth of what the front line actually looks like. So we'll go in here again, search out. There's Kramatorsk, as you can see. Here's Kostyantynivka, right? So this is what they're showing here, and it's a little bit difficult to show. It's a little bit difficult to see because you can't really tell the settlements. You can't really tell the city. These dark areas here, see these outlines of the gray areas? That is typically, as far as I can see, the boundaries of the settlements, right? So this is Kostyantynivka, as you can see here, and then we have the other settlements going further west, as you can see there. But as this shows, and I do believe the yellow is claimed territory that the Russians have in Ukraine, as you can see here by the key, and then there's assessed Russian infiltration areas, which is infiltrated by the Russians, not held by the Russians, but they're starting to infiltrate those areas. So what I'm seeing on this one is pretty closely related to the deep state map, as you can see here. It's not exact, but it's definitely closely related and affiliated. Because if you look at these areas here, let's see if I can get out my handy dandy drawing pen. So if you look at this area here, right, and then we look at this area here, right, this strip of settlement right here. So look at those, and then we'll go over to the interactive map and the Institute. I believe that's this right here. This area here, and then this area over here is those parts of Kostyantynivka. So there's infiltration, definitely not occupied as far as that's concerned. But, if you zoom out, definitely what could be confirmed as occupied as far as the Russians is concerned, held territory, seems to line up pretty closely, again, not exact, but pretty closely with this deep state map. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I was showing that the entirety of the time when I was drawing on that, but let me see. I'll just one more time to reiterate exactly where I was talking about in case I wasn't showing that. So these two portions here. So this portion of Kostyantynivka, and then you got this sliver here of Kostyantynivka as well. So again, my apologies if I just showed you that, but I wasn't sure if I was putting that on screen. So then if you go back here, I believe that's what we're talking about here. So this little portion of Kostyantynivka, and then across here, this portion of Kostyantynivka. So like I said, I think it's generally pretty close, and this is as you're going into Drushkivka, obviously this way. But, if you go over to, once again, this Suryak map, like it's not even close. It is, like they were just saying, some 15 to 17 kilometers difference as far as what they say is occupied territory for the Russians. You know what I mean? Like they're giving them the entirety of this fucking geographical area, which is just not what we've seen on the ground, not what we've heard from the reporting on the ground, not what we've heard from the Ukrainians, and certainly not what we've heard from the people over at Deep State Map, which again are typically, pretty good at determining what's going on the front. Again, they're not. They typically wait for the confirmation, so it's not as quickly translated onto the map, but it is accurate when it is translated, when it is changed, if that makes any sense. So just wanted to make sure that we point that out as far as the propaganda usage by the Russians as far as this area is concerned. You'll see a lot on Twitter. You'll see a lot on Threads or different social media sites of them claiming that they have the entirety of Kostyantynivka. They've pushed into other areas. They're threatening now and talking about how close they are to Kramatorsk and Sloviansk and stuff, which again, they're not totally wrong about that. If you get the ruler out, you can see, I believe they're about 10 miles, as it were. If we go back here, roughly about 10 miles. That's 16 miles there. Kramatorsk is, we'll go again. Kramatorsk is about, no, that's not what I wanted. I didn't want to draw. I want the ruler, which is from here to here. Yeah, so about 11, 12 miles. As it were, the very tip of the spear there, the very tip of the front lines as it pertains to Kramatorsk. But obviously what the Ukrainians have going for them in this area is that even if, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, even if the Russians were on this broad front to make it to Sloviansk, Kramatorsk, obviously into more areas or the entirety of Kostyantynivka, like they're just walking themselves into a fucking fortress, okay? They're walking themselves into areas that are heavily defended by the Ukrainians, cities that were inhabited by thousands and thousands of people, which is going to create ample opportunity for places to hide, ambushes, especially if the Russians do what they typically do is destroy the city with either drones, artillery, anything that they can get their hands on, missiles, obviously. That just makes the situation even more difficult for the Russian military going into these different areas, going into Sloviansk and Kramatorsk, okay? That's going to give even more areas for the Ukrainians to hide. It's going to make it more difficult to distinguish where you are, right? So that's another thing that kind of led to the downfall of the German 6th Army in Stalingrad, now known as Volgograd, was the fact that they destroyed it so heavily that it gave ample opportunity for the Russian snipers and obviously other aspects of the Russian military to engage in combat, to counterattack the German military. So inevitably that ground them down to a position, and then obviously the numbers advantage on the Russian side finally took over. Zhukov came in, and it was kind of good night for the Nazis. But this is again what the Ukrainians have going for them is the amount of defenses in this area, and again the difficulty that the Russians are facing right now just to get to that point. Never mind if they do in fact make it there. I mean, they will see fucking hell like they haven't seen in quite some time if, in fact, they are unlucky enough to make it to the doorstep of Sloviansk or Kramatorsk or anywhere in and around, this fortress belt of, Sloviansk, Kramatorsk, Kostyantynivka, up to what people are, calling like Lyman is kind of like the tip of that horseshoe type of that horseshoe type of defense utilized by these cities and in towns and villages. But even again, like I said, even if Kostyantynivka, which again a lot of Ukrainians have said is only a matter of time before it falls, even then they have Oskovye to pull back to. They have Alexievo Drushivka. They have Drushivka itself to pull back to. And again, utilizing that along with the other Kramatorsk, Sloviansk, as far as that line, like that's going to be a fucking meat grinder like no other meat grinder. If in fact, again, like I said, the Russians are unlucky enough to even make it to that point. I mean, just think about the losses they've seen just since Bakhmut or in Bakhmut. And they've only moved here. You can see it on the screen now. They've only gone from the center of Bakhmut. They've moved exactly 9.6 miles since the Battle of Bakhmut in that direction. So, again, talking about the amount of losses they've incurred with hurt personnel, obviously with equipment, that we've seen, God forbid they make it anywhere near these fucking places or even closer to these places, and they're going to feel the pain more than they're feeling so right now. So, again, that's something else that we have to keep in the back of our minds as we continue reporting on, the events in and around Kostyantynivka and the proximity of the Russians to, again, these other fortress belt cities that we are definitely heavily looking upon there. But all right, let's get into these videos I want to end on here. First one here is the let's do the pressure on Putin first, and then we can end with the CNN video here, because I just want to detail, this is a pretty quick video, we don't have to go through much of it, but this is from The Sun, and it's detailing desperate Putin's repressing Russians, and his next move could get him killed, is the title of this, which obviously caught my eye. And this guy, forgive me for not knowing his name, is pretty much saying that there's only two ways Vladimir Putin gets out of this war, or gets out of this and this situation in general. And he's either leaving it in a body bag or, there's going to be some other things done to him. But, I just wanted to stipulate and show this on the screen because, that seems to be the pressure being put on Putin. We've seen the fuel crisis. We've seen, the reaction from the Russians about the Ukrainians' ability to strike inside of Russia. Obviously, the Russians in Crimea not having a great period of time right now. The economy in Russia not doing so hot. We've seen the crackdown as far as social media, the crackdown as far as the internet is concerned. So all of these things kind of building up as far as pressure being put upon Vladimir Putin. And that's above and beyond the people, the hardliners behind Vladimir Putin that are pissed off that he's not in Kyiv yet, that want to see him do more damage, that want to see him go even further with the bombing campaigns, that want to do more with the military, that are pissed off that they are moving so slow. So there's like a bunch of different factions that Vladimir Putin's dealing with right now. So like I said, I just want to play a couple minutes of this and see what insight we can get. Oh, Bill Browder, I think his name is. My apologies.
His economic capacity is being systematically destroyed by Ukrainian drones. He'll go to jail at best, or he'll die at worst. And so from his perspective,
the two options he says,
Russia,
as you just heard there, the two options basically is he's either going to be arrested and he's going to be in prison, or he's going to be leaving that Kremlin in a body bag. Okay, so that's kind of what the experts are now suspecting as far as the pressures that Vladimir Putin is feeling. And we've talked about the added security measures from people that have surrounded Vladimir Putin, that work around Vladimir Putin, and not being able to use a cell phone, having surveillance put up in their own private homes, not the homes or the businesses that they work around Vladimir Putin in, but their own private residences. They also can't take public transportation. So there's a lot that we've seen. Him not using his well-known dashes, right? Whether that's because of he's afraid that the Ukrainians are going to strike it, or he's afraid that, some of his people in his own country are going to know where he is and try to take a shot at him. remains to be seen. But this goes on to detail, again, a little bit more of the pressures that Vladimir Putin's feeling.
Bad for Russia. He's not going to end the war. He's going to carry on. Well, Putin never likes to admit any kind of fault or weakness. And so, of course, they're having problems in Ukraine. We can all see it with our eyes. And the fact that he's admitted it means that he's having real problems. It's pretty remarkable what the Ukrainians have been able to achieve in terms of blowing up oil refineries. Every day there's a new image of an oil refinery on fire. They've blown up all sorts of logistics connected to the war in Crimea, oil terminals in the Baltic. And there's no way that Putin can get around it. His economic capacity is being systematically destroyed by Ukrainian drones. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to fold. It doesn't mean he's going to capitulate. It doesn't mean he's going to negotiate for peace. It just means that he's got a problem. And I suspect the next thing that will happen is some type of major escalation. What could that look like? It could look like intense bombing campaigns of Ukrainian cities, civilians. It could look like massive new recruitment of Russian soldiers, perhaps a general conscription where more Russians are trying to rush across.
And we've heard this recently, too, of a new 500,000-man conscription. We've seen more recent videos of people being generally rounded up on the streets of Russia, assuming, my assumption would be that they're trying to build the numbers for this 500,000-man conscription, as they're trying to put together as being reported here. So I don't think he's far off.
The border, of course, they'll be killed as they approach the border because the Ukrainians basically have a kill zone at the border. But
yeah, not only that, but it's been determined that the average lifespan of a Russian on the front is something like 20 minutes. Fucking, how crazy is that? I think there was a little graph going around that was detailing that the average lifespan of a Russian on the front is well below the lifespan of a fly at this point in time. 20 minutes. I shit you not. That's not an exaggeration. That's what has been calculated. I shit you. That's been what's been reported, that the average lifespan of a Russian on the front line is about 20 fucking minutes. The average lifespan of a fly is what, about 20 to 30 days or something crazy like that, 15 to 30 days or something crazy. You know what I mean? So just to give you a little comparison there of what these Russians are going through, and it's going to get even more increasingly dangerous for them the closer they get to, again, these fortress belt cities and the defenses that the Ukrainians have had pretty much ample time to set up now, as far as the lack of objectives seen and reached by the Russians and the time that they've had, especially in their slow push to set up these defensive lines. So again, it's only going to get worse for them. But yeah, fucking, I don't think he's far off as far as what he's saying here.
I don't think that we're going to see anything other than Putin escalating, because that's all he knows how to do. If Putin decides to do a general conscription, so a widespread draft, it will affect people much differently than what has been happening before. Before, Putin was basically saying to poor people around Russia that you can make many years' salary and just in a sign-on bonus.
Yep, prisons. We've talked about the outskirts of the indigenous population of Russia and different nationalities within Russia that was sent to the front. Again, a lot of the minority groups inside of Russia were the first to be kind of poached, the first to be sent to the front. And now it seems to be getting a lot closer to some of the more prominent areas of Russia, of people being rounded up on the streets. And obviously, if you're needing to fill a 500,000-man conscription, you're not going to just go to the outskirts anymore. You're going to be pulling any man you possibly can, especially some 5 years into this war.
And in doing so, he was able to recruit various poor people from all sorts of far-flung regions in Russia to join the war effort. Most of those people have died, but it hasn't affected the general population. And in fact, Putin is very keen on not affecting the general population because that's his way of avoiding uprising. If he's unable to recruit more soldiers through money, and there's two reasons why that might be happening. One is they don't have as much money anymore. And two, they've probably burned through all the people who were stupid enough to take the money and go die in Ukraine.
And again, this all lines up, right? If they've emptied all the prisons, if they've paid as much as they could possibly pay out to people to get them on the front lines, the next thing is going to be just forcibly rounding these people up and putting them into these conscription services. Okay, that's about the only thing that you have left. And again, I'm sure they're going to slowly work their way in from the outskirts of Russia as they've been doing. But eventually, the longer this war goes on, the more prominent areas of Moscow, the more prominent areas of Kaliningrad, the more prominent prominent areas of St. Pete, the more prominent areas of Volgograd are going to soon feel the pinch. They're going to start soon feeling the effects not only of the incoming Ukrainian drones and missiles, but of the outgoing, the population of people that are being sent to their deaths on the front lines in Ukraine.
But they still need soldiers. The front line is being depleted. And if they can't do it through money, then they have to do it by just forcing people to go and fight. And if they do that, that's called a general conscription or draft. And if they do that, then it affects people much more broadly. And then they have a problem, which is that people will be angry. That doesn't mean that the anger doesn't mean Putin is not going to do it. But what it means is that then he's got to repress the population even further. So, for example, we already see this happening in the way in which Russia has limited the use of Telegram, their main messaging app, because he doesn't want people all gossiping with each other about standing up to the government. Putin has
not gossiping about standing up, not revolting against the government, not detailing and showing the effectiveness of the Ukrainian strikes, not detailing any of the damages done by the Ukrainian strikes, not detailing any of the ineffectiveness of the Russian government to support or to defend any of its people. All of those things are a no to be posting, which is why we've seen the recent Russian crackdown on social media, Telegram, obviously them trying to get everybody to use this new Max app that they have so they can see, control, and understand what people are talking about, what they're posting, who's communicating with who. That's why they're trying to go that route as well. So different aspects as to what they're trying to do and different benefits they see in trying to crack down on social media and internet use in general. But that's just a couple of them.
Taken precautions by getting rid of mobile internet in Moscow and St. Petersburg because he doesn't want people talking on their phones. That's a good way for he believes that he'll end up being killed. And so, and by the way, the other thing which could happen with a general conscription is that people will try to leave the country. And so I would imagine that if they do a general conscription, they'll do it in conjunction with effectively closing the border so that young people can.
And again, that's something that we saw before from Russia as well, right? Remember the uptick in Google searches on how to break my leg, how to break my arm, which finger to cut off so I don't have to be sent to the front. All of the people that we saw leave Russia when they were able to leave Russia before this started. Right. I mean, we've seen that since the beginning of this, people trying to get out of serving for the Russian military, whether it's bashing their head against the wall, shooting themselves in the foot, whatever it takes. That's what they're trying to do to not be sent to the front. So you can be assured if this conscription does become reality and it's forced, you can definitely tell that or expect that there's going to be some Russians inevitably trying to sneak out of the country as well, which is something that's not going to be too favorably looked upon by Vladimir Putin. But I know I'm over time, but just a couple minutes of this last video, if I may, just kind of detailing some of the more recent strikes, I believe. This is CNN, and this is titled, "Russia is losing right now. Ukraine continues strikes deep inside Russia." And I think this is just detailing, again, some of the more recent strikes over the last 24 or 48 hours. And I just want to see if there was anything that we missed or anything that we could go over, anything we can detail that we haven't already. So I much appreciate you guys sticking around to the end of the show. It means the world to me that you guys support this channel. It really, really does. The people that have been here since the beginning, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. People that are just joining us for the first time, can't tell you how much I appreciate you for giving me the opportunity. It really does light a fire under my ass every single day to see the support and the generosity that you guys have for not only this independent channel, but other independent channels as well, keeping us going. And like I said, one day we're going to hit that, that escalator to the top. I know we are. We're going to make our boost. We're going to make our move at some point. I know we're slow and steady. We're slow and steady. So nothing bad about that. But at some point, we're going to see that exponential growth. I just know it. You guys just keep sharing this out. Keep talking about it in different chats, and we'll get there because I do believe that we have something to offer. I do believe there's benefit to watching this show, whether it's the information that we cover, the insights that I give, or the community that we've built here. One of those things should draw you guys in. I know it should. So, all right, let's just go over this. This is real quick. CNN. What's her name? I forget her name. Burnett at this point in time. But this is Putin feels the heat as Ukraine launches new wave of attacks on Moscow. So let's see what else we can get into here.
Launching a major wave of attacks on Moscow tonight, coming as Putin continues to face massive setbacks in the war, and he's coming under increasing pressure at home as a result, raising questions of whether he'll end the war or escalate. Nick Payton-Walsh begins our coverage out front.
Hell is still nightly for Ukrainians. Here are drones slamming into Zaporizhia, where strikes killed 1, injured 5. But again Monday night, while Ukraine was dragging its injured from the rubble, they fired about 250 more drones back at Russia than were fired at them. 419, 60 of them at Moscow. This video apparently showing the moment a drone impacted near where Russian officials said a 6-month-old baby was among the 2 Russian dead that night.
And you see, this is more of that same fucking reporting that we showed with the Guardian the other day, where Russia's been enacting this war on a fucking sovereign nation, kidnapping children, committing war crimes, bombing civilian infrastructure for fucking years now. And the second that Ukraine starts bringing it to the doorstep of the Russians, and that, again, they don't enact or they don't interject here, that it's very much the possibility of jamming or spoofing of these drones that we've seen. That's the reason that we've hitting, that the reason these drones might be striking these apartment complexes. I think there was one that killed 4 or 5, and there was, this one that they're detailing, but they're really quick to bring this up as far as, oh, look at what Ukraine's doing, and to hear and to say the Russian propaganda. That's coming from the Russians, that there was a 6-month-old. Has that been confirmed? Can you show anything on CNN to confirm that, to corroborate the Russian statements about that? Because if you can't, you're better off to shut the fuck up than to repeat the Russian propaganda, okay? Because this is a war that they started. This is a war that they continue. This is the war that they have the ability to end at any single fucking moment they choose. They could walk away. They could drop their weapons and go the fuck back into their home. They could go back into their little hellhole known as Russia, and this whole thing could be over. So if you don't want oil refineries struck, if you don't want to see just the errant fucking drone that is being jammed or being spoofed by the Russians that goes off targets and hits these civilian fucking populations, well, again, tell Russia to stop enacting their war, and they won't see these fucking reactions, okay? They won't see these mistakes. These things won't happen. Okay, you can be assured that with the wide breadth of targets that the Ukrainians have been striking over the fucking the years that this war has been going on, that they're not actively striking civilian targets. They're not actively targeting civilian infrastructure. Okay, but there is mistakes that are made. There is things that happen in war. There are jammings. There are fucking spoofs that happen, and it'd be fucking prudent upon you to bring that up when we're speaking about this. Okay. As that being a possibility, as that being an option. And obviously, the fact that the Ukrainians over the years have shown that they've gone after justifiable military targets and fucking oil refineries and anything else that leads and perpetrates the war machine that is Russia to continue their fucking fight against the Ukrainians, and not civilian infrastructure, not the civilian population, which is why the fucking Russians haven't felt it to the degree that the Ukrainians have. But now they're feeling a taste of it. So God forbid CNN, has to cover this. The fact that the Ukrainians are retaliating and defending their territory by striking against Russia where it hurts them the most. So fuck off the way that you're covering this bullshit. I ain't standing for it. No empathy, sympathy, or compassion for people that started this fucking war, okay? You don't want to punch in the face? Don't fucking hit me first. How about that?
Very few images of the damage to Moscow emerged, where a space communications center was struck in Dubna. A lot of video actually came from Ukraine's president. Flaunting the damage, the Kremlin has instructed its law enforcement to hide. Russian city skies blighted more and more like Ukrainian cities. And scenes like this devastating attack on a Moscow oil refinery 2 weeks ago, shattering the sense in the capital of Putin's war of choice being something far away that others fought. Now forced to admit more times than he would ever like in the last month to the problems Russians already know about, like gas shortages.
You are well aware that problems persist for both drivers and businesses. It's not always possible to find the required grade of fuel at present.
Ukraine released footage Tuesday of drone units who said they had targeted Moscow's specific anti-drone defenses, making the route to the capital easier. But it is not just Moscow under pressure. The peninsula of Crimea battered hard, its isolation a key Ukrainian goal, achieved through blowing bridges, trains, roads, blackouts, and more gas queues. The frontline brutal battles remain, but the story has changed. Ukraine, less the victim, more the disruptor, hoping to keep Moscow off balance long enough that it falls. Aaron, this is really about increasing pressure on Russian President Vladimir Putin. But to what end? Yes, Ukraine can isolate Crimea, the peninsula, unoccupied Ukraine. It can rain drones on Moscow and other parts of Russia. But until Putin himself is vulnerable or feels political pressure, we're simply seeing an escalation on both sides. Diplomacy, it seems.
Fuck you, buddy. How about that? Stick it up your fucking arse. escalation on both sides. You can't have an escalation on both sides when one side is perpetrating the war and the other side is defending its territory, defending its people, defending its sovereignty. That's not how it fucking works in this fight. Okay, dickhead. I'm so sick of this fucking both sides. Oh my God, look at this. Oh, they're actually defending themselves now. Holy shit, look at what we're seeing. What do you think they're trying to do? They're trying to make it so the fucking Russian citizens have a reason to put more pressure on the government, have a reason to put more pressure on the Kremlin, have a reason to put more pressure on Vladimir Putin. It's exactly what the fuck you just said. So that's what the fucking Ukrainians are trying to do. Cutting off Crimea, pissing off the fucking Russians there, isolating the Russians there, cutting off the resupply, damaging the oil and fuel supply to the entirety of the fucking country is going to get people pissed off, right? The longer you sit in a fucking fuel line, a petrol line, the more pissed off you're going to get. Why are you pissed off? Why is that happening? It's only happening because you perpetrated the war. If you weren't perpetrating the war, the Ukrainians wouldn't be attacking the fucking oil refineries. Good fucking God, man. Jesus H. Christ. Can't stand it. We'll end on that high note, apparently, as far as that's concerned. But it's unbelievable the way that it just switched. They flipped the script just like that. We can report of 5 years of fucking Russia hitting nothing but fucking infrastructure of civilians. Nothing but apartment complexes, hospitals, ambulances, schools, all of these things that we've seen time and time and time again. And all of a sudden now the fight starts to get to the fucking doorstep of the Russians. And it's like, oh, look at the escalation. Holy escalation. Fuck you. I got something for you. Yeah, actually, I got this built in already. I don't need to do it myself. I got this. Hey, buddy on CNN.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I should use that more often. I don't know why we're not utilizing that more often. and this one goes for him too.
Tell the director to call the White House. Do your fucking job.
So, all right, we'll end on that high note. But let's see. I appreciate you guys again for sticking with me, dealing with my bullshit, supporting this channel the way that you're doing. It's very touching. It continues to light a fire under me, and continues to push me to sift through these details, to sift through these situations, these topics, and to sit here and to chat with you guys about it as much as humanly possible. So very much appreciate it. I feel like I missed a super chat because I'm feeling like I only have 19 of them starred. I know you guys said that we hit the goal, so I took that kind of on face value. So I apologize if I missed one, but I'm only reporting 19. So we'll see. The ones that we get through, you can tell me which ones I missed. But let's start off where we start off at the end of every single show. And we're going to thank everybody that sent in a Venmo, as we do every single podcast, every single live stream. At the end, we make sure to congratulate, we make sure to appreciate everybody that makes this show run. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to head over to Venmo and say thank you to all of the fantastic chatters, all of the Bryantologists, all the lobsters that were nice enough to throw in a contribution this evening. First on the list today is going to be MR. Much appreciated, MR. Tiff says 22, so I must have missed 3. So I'm a dick. I'm a dick. I'll see if I can scroll back as we're thanking people. Thank you, Tiff, for keeping me up to speed on the amount. My appreciations for that. Thank you, MR, for the $2 on Venmo. Another 2 great Wednesday shows. Thank you. No, thank you, MR. Like I continue to say, I'd just be talking to myself. I'd probably have like a psych evaluation if it wasn't for you guys in the chat. I'd be sitting here yapping to myself in front of a light and a camera for absolutely no reason. So you guys make this possible, MR. Thank you so much for your contributions, as always. Thank you to Bry Guy for everything that you do for this channel as well. He sent in a $5 contribution. He says, protection, that's MAGA grabble. Slava Ukraini, I'm tired of the strong guy president bullshit. He's the walking dead, absolutely. But that's all he's got left, right? Is the strong guy, the alpha man persona, and that's what we need to continue to tear down, because that's what these autocrats and dictators hate: is being ridiculed, is being mocked, is being made fun of, is being embarrassed, is being shamed to the degree that they have the ability to do so. And that's why we started what we are doing: to make fun of, to mock, to ridicule, to bring into the light all of the fascism, all of the hypocrisy, all of the fucking propaganda. That's why we're here. So thank you so much to MR. Thank you to Bry Guy. Thank you to Geneva H, as always, for a really substantial and huge $50 Venmo that you sent. Thank you so much for that. That's amazing. She says, thank you, Brian. Keep working hard for us. Appreciate you. No, Geneva, I appreciate you more than you could possibly imagine. So thank you so much, Emma, Brian, Geneva, Allison. Thank you so much for the $7 Venmo. Very much appreciate you. Sent in a nice lobster with the heart right back at you, Allison. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you to Cynthia McGee. I don't know why I just said your last name. My apologies on that one. It's the first time I think I've done that, but it just came out that way. Thank you so much for the $20 contribution with the coffee symbol. Not a big coffee drinker. Actually, I don't drink coffee at all, but I will utilize that for a couple Powerades, a couple Gatorades, and sorry for the doxing. My apologies. Jesus Christ. Somebody's going to lock me up. Somebody's going to keep me locked up. But yeah, see if you can stipulate in your Venmos if you want me to say your full name or not. But thank you so much to Cynthia. Thank you so much to Sarah as well. Also sent a cup of coffee. Very much appreciate you. We'll absolutely utilize that for a Powerade. Oh my goodness, Nancy. Oh, goodness gracious. Nancy sent in $100 on Venmo. Holy sugar pie honey bunch. Let's go, Nancy. And she did also text me and send me a message to say, and hopefully this is okay with me sharing, Nance, that her nephew did get rotated back to his base in England. I know we were all worried about Nancy's nephew and you know, where he was serving in the military, and I'm not going to give too much information out, but, you know, she just wanted to let us know that he did get rotated back to his base in England. Nancy is very happy to see that, very happy to hear that he's, you know, for the time being, obviously out of the danger zone and not being used by Donald Trump as a fucking political pawn. And she says a little celebration out here tonight, at least for a while. Well, W's in the chat for not only Nancy, but also her nephew being out of the danger zone. Very much appreciate you, Nancy, for everything you do for this channel. Very substantial and huge, very generous contribution for you. Very much appreciate you being here. And thank you for your commitment to the gang. Thank you so much to Kathy A, I'll say again, not to dox anybody. Thank you so much for your contribution. Earned playing solitaire. Woo. Geez, what are you, a professional solitaire player? You earn money playing solitaire? Good grief. That's amazing. How do I get into that business? How do I get into that one? But thank you so much, Kathy. Thank you so much to Nina as well for your contribution. Namaste on YouTube, as we know her by. I've been taking time away from the news to reset. I honor your dedication to keeping up with this madness. Have a safe 4th, everybody. And I extend that wish to everybody to hopefully have a safe and very happy 4th of July. However you want to celebrate that, or even if you don't want to celebrate that, I still hope you have a great time doing whatever makes you happy. So thank you so much to Kathy, Nina, Brian, Damon from earlier today. Thank you so much to Allison again, Yakov again, Roger and Karen. Thank you so much to Jenny, Faye, and Corey. Thank you so much to who am I missing? Thank you so much to Suzanne. Thank you so much to Jeff. Thank you so much to Donna and Roxanne and Victoria over the last few days. Very much appreciate you guys for everything that you guys do. And all right, let's see if we can go over here to YouTube and see who I missed. How the fuck did I miss everybody? I don't understand how I missed 3. I was trying to do a good job of watching out of the corner of my eye and starring all of them, Tiff. So my apologies if I missed a couple. But let's start off here, and you can tell me, Tiff, and actually that's what we'll do. Tiff, if you could see which ones I go over, and then you could possibly tell me at the end of them which 3 I missed. And then if you could just send me the names, that way I can at least thank everybody. I hate missing people. It literally makes me lose sleep when I can't thank people for contributing to the show. First up today is going to be Dame Dog. Very much appreciated for kicking us off in the right direction. He says 1 down, 19 to goal as far as our goal is concerned. So thank you for the $5, my brother. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for showing up to the Zooms. Thank you for just doing what you do and supporting independent creators like myself. It is very much appreciated and recognized. So thank you to Dame. Thank you to Laurie. I'm number 2. Who do you work for? Who do you work for? Name the movie, and you will be forever in my hearts. All right. Well, thank you, Laurie. And the same goes to you, Laurie, as went to Dame. Thank you so much for everything you've done for this channel. Thank you so much for showing up to the Zoom chats and hanging out with us. Thank you for contributing in this chat. And again, it doesn't go unnoticed, and it is very, very much appreciated. So much appreciated to Dame and Laurie. Thank you to Nola as well. Same goes for you, Nola. Thank you for the $10 contribution and all of the contributions that you're responsible for giving on this channel. It is noticed, it is appreciated, and I am very grateful for that. So thank you so much. Thank you to Jimmy Two Soups as well. You're working overtime, Lobster Man. I'm trying, brother. It's a grind. I'm trying to put out more content. Again, live streaming is not the best way to grow a channel. I've learned a lot of people on YouTube and on these other sites love the edited kind of 5 to 7 minute videos, but you know, I've stuck this out. We've created this schedule, so I'm going to stick with it. And I just appreciate you guys for, you know, making it as making it as beneficial and worthwhile as humanly possible. Hopefully I do the same for you guys. So thank you so much, Jimmy, for your contribution. Thank you to Kit as well, right behind Jimmy, for a $10 contribution. Much appreciated to Kit. Not sure if it's male or woman at this point in time, so I don't want to misgender, but Kit, very much appreciate the contribution to the channel. Love seeing you here. Much appreciated. And hopefully we get to learn more about you as we continue on this journey here. So thank you to Kit. Thank you to Tony. Let's fucking go, Tony says, with the $2 contribution. Much appreciated to Tony, contributing to the goal. Thank you to Tamara. Another $2 contribution. Shout out to you, Tamara. Thank you to Bry Guy. Unfortunately, this gentleman is going to end up under the brig when Trump and Keg's breath should be in The Hague. So I believe you're talking about and referencing the Air Force Major that we spoke about at the beginning of the show. And again, if you joined us late, go back and check out the beginning of the show, because a really historic moment happened today, if you didn't catch it, where the Air Force Major basically sacrificed some 17 to 20 years of his military service, sacrificed his future and his freedom to make sure that he spoke up against the injustices that Donald Trump is responsible for, calling for his impeachment, removal, and conviction, and then was subsequently arrested on the steps of the building that he was protesting at. So, again, go back and check that out if you missed it. And, Brian, I absolutely, unfortunately, have to side with you on this one. I think they're going to try to make an example out of him. And again, that's why we should be giving him our full-throated support, whether that's financially, whether that's on social media, whether that's people that are going on the mainstream media. Everybody should be bringing this up. Everybody should be talking about how much this guy sacrificed and how worthy the cause must be to be able to sacrifice that much, and how much it would go to help serve this community, to help serve this country, to have many other servicemen and women from all armed forces, from all branches of the armed forces, speak up where this guy did today, because that will make it extremely difficult for anybody to be made example of, for any of these people singularly to be called out and to be treated, with malice or with maltreatment or anything like that. The way that we think Donald Trump and Pete Keg's breath and the Pentagon are probably going to try to make a scapegoat out of this guy. So it's going to make it more difficult the more people speak up. So hopefully that was the first, but hopefully he's not the last. All right. But Bry Guy, thank you so much for what you've done for this channel. Very much appreciated. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful night. Thank you to Jimmy Two Soups. One more time. Let's go. I'll be on the production, listening, learning, and laughing. Please donate to make Boston Brian work overtime. I need all the Boston Brian chuckles I can get. Let's fucking go. Much appreciated to you, Jimmy. Appreciate the support. And again, thanks for letting us hit this goal. And that does mean, and I'm not counting tonight. I'm not gonna I won't skimp out that easy. We'll do an extended show on one of our upcoming shows. Maybe on Sunday we'll do an extended broadcast, depending on what's going on here. You guys deserve that. You guys got us to our goal, and that's what you're going to get. You ask and you shall receive. So, Jimmy, thank you very much again. Thank you to JD for the $13 and the Siempre Antifascista, as always. If you guys want to join the opposition, if you want to join the resistance, right here is where you can do it. And at the Blunt Politics merch shop is where you can get all your gear. That lets everybody know that you are part of the opposition, you are part of the resistance, and you don't fuck with MAGA, you don't fuck with ICE, you don't fuck with Donald Trump, you don't fuck with Republicans, and you don't fuck with Vladimir Putin. Right. And I'm sure there's many other things that we could add to that list as well. But head over to bostonbrian.com. The Blunt Politics merch shop has a link on there that you can click. And I guarantee you some of the designs on there will leave people asking zero questions. Well, they might ask questions, but they'll have no questions about what side of history that you stay on. So much appreciated to you, JD. Thank you so much, not only for the 13, but for the $2 profanity bonus as well. Hope you have a wonderful night, my dude. Thank you to Grams. Good to see you. Let's go, Grams, for the $10 contribution. Now you can buy a quart of gasoline. Thank you so much. Much appreciated, Grams. Hope you're having a wonderful night. And thank you so much for your kind contributions there. Thank you so much to 56 Nick Rich. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you, my friend. As always, thank you so much. Hope I guarantee he's keeping everybody track of the time down there, right? I'm sure that's what Nick's famous for down there, keeping everybody track of the time. But thank you so much for the expletive extra. Very much appreciate that, Nick, getting us towards our goal. Always love seeing you here. Very much appreciate it. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful night. Thank you to Tiff. Not only one of the best mods in the game, but also contributing to the channel. Boston Brian Barnacles here for the OT. Let's fucking go. And again, the Barnacles are the people that stick around to the end of the show. The people that you just can't get off the bottom of the boat, nor would we want to. So much appreciated, Tiff. Thank you so much. Thank you to Rox, one of our other fabulous mods as well. Hope this works. It worked. You did it right. You did it right. Pat yourself on the back, Rocks. You did it well. Hopefully you got all your Walmart goods. Tell Mom that I said hi. Hopefully she's doing well. And thank you so much for everything you do for this channel. Thank you to Shelly. Is it Shelly or Shell? I think I asked this last time. I apologize. I hate getting names wrong. I really do. I'm a nickname guy. That's probably why I'm a nickname guy. It's a lot easier for me to remember nicknames. So my apologies if I'm mispronouncing this, Shelly. I'm going to go with Shelly. But thank you so much for your contributions. Thank you for the $2, and I'm here for the laugh. Thank you so much. But we had a lot to laugh at tonight. We really did. With Donald Trump's stupidity, talking to fucking Teddy Roosevelt. If you missed that part, that's certainly something you're going to go back and watch. If you don't watch the whole live stream over, go back and check out at least where we made fun of Donald Trump talking to fucking an AI robot. Thank you so much, Melissa. Appreciate you as well. Go Team USA, watching on TV. What was it? I think it's 2-0, right? Did they win 2-0? If I'm not mistaken, yeah. USA 2-0 over there. Who did they play again? Why am I forgetting who they played? Oh, hold on. God, what a bad sports dude I am. Oh, Bosnia. That's right. I don't even have to look at it. Just popped in my head. Yeah. Bosnia-Herzegovina. But yeah, 2-0. Much appreciated, Melissa, and go Team USA. I second that. So thank you so much for your contribution. Hope you have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much to Wes. Let's go, Wes. Much appreciated, bro. 3333. Much appreciated. You've got to remember, when it comes to some of us old folks, our life savings are tied up in the stock, bond, and real estate markets through our homes and our retirement funds. This is important to many of us. Absolutely. Absolutely. But you got to understand that, a lot of people also don't have any affiliation with the stock market. So again, if you're fortunate enough to have stocks and bonds and real estate, you got to understand that not everybody's in that position. A lot of people wouldn't know a fucking stock or a bond if it slapped them in the face, and definitely aren't worried about the real estate market because they couldn't afford a fucking apartment, never mind a home. So as much as I understand the people that are in that situation, a lot of people in this country are not. So if you're fortunate enough to be, then obviously it's going to be increasingly important to you. But like I said, a lot of people not fortunate enough to be in that position. So thank you so much, Wes, absolutely, for your contributions and being here. Shout out to you. Hope you have a wonderful night. Thank you so much to DPD for this amazing $50 contribution. Unbelievable. And again, the sentiment is probably felt by so many people in the chat. So again, I wouldn't feel bad about that. But that's all I got, Tiff. So that's everybody. So I don't know if there was more after DPD or if I missed people in between, but I'm going to hang out just a couple minutes here in case Tiff can tell me who I missed so I can at least. Oh, all right, here we go. So, Jesus, right on cue, Tiff. You're quicker than lightning on this one. So I got Jeff. Thank you so much for the 420. Thank you, JD. Sent in another $2 sticker that I missed. And thank you, Jim. Very much appreciate for the $3 contribution that I missed. And by the way, it's Shell like Michelle. Fuck. I was a 50-50 shot, and I couldn't even get that right. All right, so Shell, my apologies. Like I said, I hate mispronouncing names, so it definitely wasn't done on purpose. I hope you understand that. We're going to have to come up with a nickname, okay? Shelly Shell or something. That way I can say it both. No matter which way I say it, it's right. But thank you, Tiff. Much appreciated. Thank you to Jeff, Gin Up the Base in the chat. Thank you to JD in the chat again for the third sticker, and thank you to Jim for the $3 sticker. My apologies for missing those in the chat. I thought I did a pretty good job of trying to get all of the super chats, but clearly I fucked that one up too. So
Certainly frozen, although there are
for everything that you guys do. I'm going to let you go for the evening. I will see you guys tomorrow for the Thursday show. That's going to be 2 p.m. here on the East Coast. That's going to be 11 a.m. on the West Coast. If you enjoyed the show tonight, come back tomorrow. We got a fantastic chat, fantastic community. And again, we're just going to be talking politics, any of the inside bullshit propaganda that we can call out, we're going to call out. My name's Brian. This is Blunt Politics. And again, if you could hit that like button on the way out, if you didn't do so on the way in, that would be fantastic. If you could subscribe to the channel, if you did find yourself kind of sticking around, liking what you were seeing, liking what you were hearing, subscribe to the channel. Doesn't cost you a dime. Again, if you're watching on Twitch, if you have Amazon Prime, you can utilize that to subscribe to this channel. And it doesn't cost you a dime. Thank you to everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Substack. Much appreciated. Much love, much respect to every single one of you guys now fighting alongside us here in this resistance, in the opposition. And again, fuck Donald Trump, fuck Vladimir Putin, fuck ICE, fuck the Republicans, all of that. And again, if you espouse those same beliefs and you want to see people with better health care, if you'd like to see free college, if you'd like to see better access to housing, if you'd like to see veterans be taken care of, if you'd like to see kids not go hungry, if you'd like to see kids not get shot in school, this is the community for you. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see every single one of you fabulous motherfuckers tomorrow. All right. Thank you guys. Much appreciated. Salute to you guys. Stay loud, stay proud, stay aggressive. Get the fuck out of your seats, please. We're just not pissed off enough in this country, but keep your head on a swivel out there. Okay. Make sure you're staying safe because I need you guys to return if you do, in fact, get out there and start causing some good trouble. All right. I'm out of here. I love you. I appreciate you. And I will see you tomorrow. Salute to everybody. Thank you guys for being a part of this movement. Thank you for being a part of the opposition. It really does mean a lot that you guys are here with me. And, I'll continue to fight for you guys as long as you continue to fight for me. All right. I'm out of here. Thanks, guys.
God bless the United States. We're inviting Americans from all across the country to come. Water coming here is dead. They're just getting acclimated. You know what that means, acclimated?
White people are a mortal danger to you and your loved ones.
Where you going? Nowhere.
Вітаю, Бостон Брайан. Мій позивний танцор. Я представник 72-ї бригади. Дякую тобі і твоїм підписникам за цей донат, за цю чудову машину, яка буде нас возити усіх на позиції, захищати Україну і наближати перемогу. Разом усі до перемоги. Дякую.
It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
Referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small.
Always calling me Little Marco. And I'll admit, the guy, he's taller than me. He's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2".
The rest of my life, I have the curse that I have little hands. Little hands.
Hey, you got a little chubby going there.
What in the hell was that all about? Never fight uphill, me boys. Never fight uphill. They were fighting uphill. He said, wow, that was a big mistake. He lost his great general. And they were fighting. Never fight uphill, me boys. But it was too late.
It feels so lovely to be here tonight. What a beautiful life. Give yourself a round of applause. You're so lovely. Everyone's so lovely.
Call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Вітаю, Бостон Брайан. Мій позивний танцор. Я представник 72-ї бригади. Дякую тобі і твоїм підписникам за цей донат, за цю чудову машину, яка буде нас возити усіх на позиції, захищати Україну і наближати перемогу. Разом усі до перемоги. Дякую.
When you ran out the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular, and pitchers, I guess you could say, in really particular.
Go ahead, Tiff. Get your laughs in. Everybody make fun of the guy. I know it's one button I'll never remember to hit. What are you going to do? But you just wanted to see my face one more time anyway. Good grief. I just want to say hi. I love you. I appreciate you. And thank you one more time before I sign off again.
undisputed to officially name the undisputed. When did this come out? The new form of vicious violation to our country. For minors, do we love minors? I love minors.
My superpower is being honest. I will eat my neighbors. I'm just an average guy who read public documents where the elite said they were going to enslave us and destroy America. And I'm not going to be like yuppie scum and deny the threat to my country. I'm going to fight back. Cacophony, a crescendo, a finale, a coup de grace.
Brian, you're drunk. You're drunk.
Вітаю, Бостон Брайан. Мій позивний танцор. Я представник 72-ї бригади. Дякую тобі і твоїм підписникам за цей донат, за цю чудову машину, яка буде нас возити усіх на позиції, захищати Україну і наближати перемогу. Разом усі до перемоги. Дякую.
You're bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
Eating the dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people that live there. Obama, the big, fat, sloppy United States.